Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 99, the Gretzky edition. That means nothing to you, does it?
No.
He is the greatest hockey player of all time, by far, in my opinion, and he was 99. From beautiful Brantford,
He's
Ontario,
99.
where the Muellers live.
He's that old already?
No, he's not. He is not.
Oh.
But that's my co-host, Jack, you hear over there. I am your host, as always, sitting here in the basement. And look at that, it's not even 2 o'clock, and we've already had a very productive day today, haven't we?
It's been a long day.
Already?
For probably in a better way, because Thursday was also a long day, but that was like long day, but like
because you were
not
volunteering at school for
that
6
was
hours.
like the wrong kind of long day.
That was good of you to get some volunteer work done there. That was nice. So you were doing lights for, what was that, the Fine Arts Banquet, I think it was called?
Showcase.
Sorry.
God.
Fine Arts Showcase, my bad. So
You don't know anything about art.
You were behind the scenes doing the lights, flipping the switches and
Getting
whatnot?
one of the worst headaches I've ever had.
Oh, you did come home. Oh, yeah, so that's why you don't have a lot of opinions on the main event of NXT UK this week, because you were
pretty much
passed
blacked out on that, yeah.
So I'll have to take the wheel on that one. But yeah, so today we got up bright and early on a Saturday.
Yeah, you know what I like saying about that day is my head was a pain in the ass.
It was. So our pool pump has problems and sounds like a freaking
that was
airplane.
One of our things today.
So we had to take that in as early as possible so they could get started on it, and that was about an hour away.
You mean the guy?
The guy.
The one guy.
Like a 1,000-year-old man smoking a pipe in a workshop full of pumps. He was
classic.
He was adorable. I told him I love the smell of the pipe, and he was like, really? Because my grandpa smoked a pipe forever, and it's just reminded me of that.
Oh, you said grandpa.
Smell.
I thought like grandpa wasn't your dad. I was like, what?
Not my dad.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was confused.
Not your grandpa, my grandpa. So that was cool, and then we ended up went out for a nice brunch together, and then a little bit of a mini figure hunt, right? That not mini figure hunt, but a small figure hunt. Like, no, we weren't hunting mini.
The hunt was small. No, hunting minifigures.
The figures were full size.
That would be like if I was looking for the Marvel CMS, but no. So there wasn't really much in the way of wrestling figures. There was it was kind of nice the first one where we had I found that unmatched Darby Allin in the wild, which was pretty nice because the only way I was able to obtain that was when we went to Bounty Hunter Toys, which was really cool.
Right.
Because I got that in the Adam Cole, but I'm happy that at least that it does exist within stores because until today, I had no faith that had even hit stores because I had never seen that figure in my entire life.
And the only other things you saw...
And then there's more Kenny Omegas.
And Miro you didn't have. But
Miro was all right. There's that Chris Jericho, that's all right.
Right.
Unrivaled 6. They had the accessory packs, which are pretty cool. They actually have both versions, which I probably wouldn't buy those again, but like I'd gladly receive those again, like just for more stuff. You know what I mean?
And then you ended up with a Marvel figure, which was not the plan.
Which was not the plan, but no, they had some. There's like this retro Spider-Man series, so it's like on old carding or whatever. I think it's from like the '90s show, if anyone's familiar with that. So in the series, there's I don't know if they're all from the show. I assume they are, but there's a Ben Reilly Spider-Man, which is like I guess a variant Spider-Man with like a giant black Spider-Man. It's not like the normal Spider-Man, but because obviously it's not Peter Parker, I guess. I'm not too familiar with that. Then there's Shocker, Hobgoblin, Hammerhead, and Spider-Armor Mark 1. I'm familiar with very few of those. And then the one I got was the one I am familiar with and that I very much enjoy is Symbiote Spider-Man, which is essentially Spider-Man suit, Venomized one. It's the comic version. It's also like I have that skin on Fortnite. So yeah, that's cool. It's the only one in the series that I'm like super interested in at the moment. And it's the only one I haven't seen thus far.
Right.
So that was pretty cool. Yeah, I got that.
And then it went from a nice day to pouring rain as we came out of the last Walmart.
Briefly too, like it didn't last that long.
And we passed some grumpy-looking guy on the highway on his motorbike as the rain was pouring on him. Poor guy.
Yeah, that was funny.
And a couple other people putting the hoods up or the tops up on their convertibles.
There's the one guy in like the small car with his hood. I remember as we were coming in Keswick, and I was like, "You fool!"
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've had a pretty productive morning already.
Did you mention the breakfast place?
The breakfast place I did, but I don't remember what it was called. But Stacked, that's right. It was pretty good. You got
almost went to Pita Land.
We did. You got a nice sandwich. I got some eggs Benny, which is like my favorite thing.
The home fries are good, actually. We still have some of those.
Yeah, it wasn't the best eggs Benny in the world, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was loud. It was really packed.
It was very busy in that place, yes, for sure.
But yeah, it was cool. And you discovered there is one in Newmarket too.
There is one close to where we live.
Closer to us, so that is coolio.
Yeah, and that's
indeed.
I don't know, anything else exciting? That's some good banter. Some great banter we had on our mini road trip this morning.
Not really anything other than like I guess there was 2 shows this Wednesday. There was Kenobi episode 4, which was pretty good. People are saying it was like wasn't good, but like I liked it.
Me
I
too.
thought it was pretty good, and
I liked
I
it.
saw one guy point out that was a good point. Is so for anyone who doesn't know, like people are saying, oh, it's filler. Like it's supposed to be filler. This show because it's bridging the gap
It's literally
between
filling a
Obi-Wan
gap. Yes.
prequels and original trilogy. So I think
It's
for
what
that,
it
it's
is.
doing a great job. I like it a lot. And I guess we didn't talk about it last week much. So spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen like episode 3 before that. So that was last week. That was really good with Vader coming in, and I thought it was perfect, like absolute menace.
Yeah.
So that's been really good. And then also on Wednesday there was Miss Marvel, which is the latest Marvel show. It's got like a PG rating or whatever, so that's a good sign. It looks not good, which is evident because it's been 3 days and I have not watched it. Usually I'd watch them on the first day. It's not even like. It's like I remember when Hawkeye came in. I hate Hawkeye. I think he's stupid because he's a superhero and all he does is shoot bow and arrows. Like I think some of the trick arrows are cool, but like for a superhero, like that's your only thing.
Maybe
like,
a hero, but not so super.
You gotta have something else with that. You know what I'm saying? But
Yep.
anyways, like I wasn't interested in that show when it came out, but I still watched it. So like it was more just disinterest. This time it's more like I don't want to watch it, and I'll probably watch it eventually.
Yep.
I guess
you're just not. That's weird for you to lag behind watching stuff like that. But and then
actually really happy news was I discovered, I think it was yesterday, Spider-Man No Way Home is going to come back to theaters on September 2nd. An extended cut, which they call the more fun stuff version.
So you'll be going to that,
obviously?
I will be.
It'll be like take 2 of opening night, which is a very exciting prospect. It's essentially the same movie with a little extra on top, but deleted scenes and whatnot. I think still an enticing prospect, and it's basically a second go about of opening night, which is pretty cool because that was great.
Nice. And then tonight we're maybe going out to Garage Band, where some friends of ours down the street are putting literally a band in their garage and playing some music, and we'll see if the weather holds up.
We'll see how it pans out. Maybe like go to another house.
We'll probably end up at someone else's house on the street as well. Yep, it's usually what happens on the weekend. But anyways, I guess we should probably get into talking about some wrestling on this episode
Always
99
a fun day
of ours.
when we get chonky banter.
Oh yeah,
and do you want to talk about our possible plans for next week's episode?
Or do we want to keep it a surprise?
What do you want to do?
We're going to review something retro, as one of our listeners recommended. But it's not going to be a retro wrestling pay-per-view or anything. Okay, do you
think you have like a good hint for it? If you had to, like,
not off the top of my head, no. That's your gimmick.
It's very infamous in the wrestling world. And it does feature a wrestler.
100%.
It is wrestling related.
Absolutely wrestling related, yes.
But it's technically not a wrestling match, and it's very infamous. If you know, you know. And
from my childhood, to give you a hint.
It is, yes.
So we're gonna check that out.
We're gonna try that next week, and it could branch off into something new. I'm hoping, because that will.
We'll see how it goes.
Be very interesting. Yeah. So it's something special next week. So I think stay tuned for episode 100.
Maybe put it in any other wrestling business would make sense.
Yeah, we could. It is other wrestling related business,
Definitely
and if anyone, I don't know if you want to comment something else for us to do, as long as it's not too major, we could try to. If anyone wants something else, we can try to squeeze something else.
Yeah, and
that would be more than welcome.
I was telling you, episode 98 did really well for us. Yeah. So if you're a new listener, welcome, or if you just started listening last week, welcome back. We really appreciate. As an avid podcast listener, I know the options you have, like infinite options to listen to anything you want. So the fact that whatever number of people are choosing to listen to us is pretty cool. Because I don't know, we're just kind of still down here having fun doing this as our hobby. And the more people that listen, that's super cool. So thanks. If you can, like, share, comment, favorite. I don't know, what are the things you do on social media?
All the things.
All of the things that are done on the social medias that I don't have. Do those. Do those for us.
Do those things. You know the lingo better than he does.
That's right, definitely. But I say we get into talking about some wrestling about now, yeah?
Yep.
All right, so the first thing we always do is take a look at some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. So taking a look at the ratings first, as usual, we've got Tuesday's episode of NXT 2.0 drew 675,000 viewers. A pretty good number for them. That's up 23% from the previous week. And earned a 0.14 in the beloved key demographic, which is up 21%. So this is the highest viewership the program has seen since May 3rd. So, I mean, over a month at least, right? So basically what it looks like is I stop watching and a bunch of other people start. So go ahead, you can have it, is what I say. Because I now am 2 weeks removed from watching NXT 2.0, and I can't say that I miss it. So I know I held on longer than you, but
much longer.
It's really, really not a good program, so I don't miss it. I've replaced it with a couple other things we'll talk about in any other wrestling business later in this episode that I quite enjoyed, and I wasn't angry. It was a lot faster to watch them, so I will not be going back to 2.0 unless I hear some amazing things about it. And then we've got
Slim chances.
I think so too. Wednesday's episode of AEW Dynamite drew 939,000 viewers, which is down 3%, earned a .34 in the key demographic, which is down 14%. So down slightly in both those areas, but considering that they were up against an NBA Finals game this time, I got the ratings for that because it's kind of interesting. So Dynamite draws under 1 million, right? NXT draws like 500 to 700,000 usually. How many viewers would you guess an NBA Finals game gets? Let's say Dynamite gets around 1 million. What do you think NBA Finals game gets?
Like 3 million or something.
11.5 million.
All right.
So 11 times more viewers. And their key demographic was amazing because for, let's say, Dynamite's usually like 0.3 something to 0.4 something. What would you think the NBA Finals game would get?
I don't know.
3.65. So those are obviously humongous numbers, right? So considering that there's that big of a draw on up against them, I don't think their numbers were bad this week. What do you have for news?
So Adam Cole reportedly has been wrestling hurt. It's been banged up for a while.
I saw that, yes.
I'm hoping it's not another Kenny Omega situation.
I hope not too, or Cody Rhodes situation. We'll get to that. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. So hopefully it's just like nagging stuff that he needs, like a couple weeks rest or something, and then he's fine. But I haven't heard anything more than that either. For me, here's a rare me talking about main roster WWE stuff a little bit, because I happened to be flipping channels and watch this segment happen, right? And I remember you came downstairs and I told you that Edge was, I don't even think you believed me at first, because I was like, they turned on Edge and Balor is now the head of Judgment Day, and you're like, what? Right?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all.
It seemed like, not that we're watching the product, but it did seem kind of out of the blue. So yes, Edge is out.
Especially because like Judgment Day as a faction has lasted 2 months. Balor was one of their chief rivals, and
and it's sort of it's reported that Edge is undergoing
it's like a half-baked House of Black, honestly.
An abrupt character change. So we were speculating that maybe now that Cody Rhodes is out for 9 months, it turns out with that pec tear that maybe they're looking for a top tier babyface they need really quickly. So maybe they're making that move, but he has been officially moved to the babyface side on the sort of internal Raw roster. That's according to PW Insider. So yeah, maybe they just need a top-notch babyface to take over for Cody. So that seems like what they're doing. But it was a pretty jarring for me as somebody who's not really watching the product to just see like, because I'm like, in my mind, this faction has not been together very long.
If you want to like go where Ripley joined in, it's been like a month since she joined in,
right?
She joined at Backlash, right?
And
then Priest joined at Mania, which is
and it didn't really make sense because it was just Priest going like, we're going to remove the last limitation to our success or something, and that is you. Like, I don't watch, but I listen to and read a bunch of stuff.
That's just like scripted, like.
And like, I don't think there's been a lot of teasing of it, right? Like, it's just kind of like out of left field. But I could be wrong again.
I guess Edge kind of wasted a haircut for nothing. Like, now he looks like an idiot.
Yeah. What else do you have? I've got
more main roster news.
Yes. Yay.
Which the rest of mine is main roster news, pretty much.
Great.
Walter beats Ricochet on SmackDown, and now he's Intercontinental Champion.
Yep.
I will not call him his other name.
Reports are that they're high on Walter, so
good for him,
as they should be. He's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And he got in shape, which
mean, I'd say Gunther's good. Walter was fantastic.
I'm sure original body shape Walter, even though we preferred it, was a barrier to the people that count in
Unfortunately,
WWE.
I do definitely prefer big, burly
Chunky Walter was just so different.
A menace.
And so awesome. Like, just like a big, chubby, strong man. There's not worried about
like Samoa Joe.
Who's not looking to look like a bodybuilder. He's just functionally super strong. And I miss that. I mean, I've
heard them saying Ricochet made him look pretty good, which I don't.
I'm sure.
I don't have a hard time believing
that
Ricochet's pretty good when it comes to selling.
And I get that him being thinner and fitter is better for his own personal health. But selfishly, I liked Big
98 days for Ricochet as champion.
Nice. Amazing.
And he defended against the likes of Jinder Mahal, Los Lotharios, which that's not bad, but they're pretty low
What a
card.
feather
They're
in
pretty
his
low
cap.
card.
Yes.
But they're good. And also, well, okay, so you may think they're pretty low card, but what about Shanky?
Oh, Shanky is amazing. Well, I don't
Who's
think I've
now
seen
dancing
Shanky
with his
wrestle.
girlfriend?
I don't think I've seen Shanky wrestle
Dancing
ever.
with them. I saw the one thing I've seen is he like bobs Garza on the head and then super kicks him, which
I assume I'm not
okay.
missing much.
I doubt it. He's a giant Punjabi guy. That's worked out well in the past, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And on AEW, which was Satnam Singh.
Right. Somebody we were, I think, wondering where he went a little while ago, and that's former NXT superstar Timothy Thatcher, who you and I seem to like more than a lot of people did.
He was
thought
good.
he was
I
cool.
liked him and Ciampa together, actually.
Me
I thought
too.
that was really good.
So he debuted.
They would not survive in 2.0, though. Like, if
No.
you really think,
No,
like,
of
they
course not.
they would.
They would just be losing.
Yeah,
over
exactly.
younger
They would
talent.
put over everyone because they're the epitome of a veteran.
And could make other
team.
people look good, as good as
Exactly,
they could, right?
There's also that.
So Thatcher debuted in Pro Wrestling Noah last week, and he was teaming up with Segura Rene Dupree. That's a name from the past. And El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr., along with former NXT wrestler / trainer.
Hideki Suzuki.
Correct.
Yep,
Very
I knew
good.
it.
Yeah, so good.
Hachiman.
I'm glad Thatcher's gainfully employed. I liked him, and I was hoping he would
I think
show
that's
up.
a good fit for him too. I think I saw him saying that he thinks it's a good fit too, and I think that it definitely sounds like a fit for him.
Selfishly, I wish
paper.
he were somewhere that we would see him, but good for him that he landed somewhere.
Somewhere good, because I guess they're pretty prominent. Like
I think so, yeah.
They're the next big one. I think New Japan's probably
The biggest.
a little more prominent.
Yes, for sure. What else you got? I got 3 more.
Roman Reigns is to defend the Undisputed Universal title for the first time against Riddle next week on SmackDown on TV. Yep, because Riddle beat Sami Zayn to get the shot last night on SmackDown, which I heard was good, so maybe worth checking out. With reports also saying Reigns is due to miss Money in the Bank like he did for Hell in a Cell, due to wrestle next on SummerSlam. So I guess this will be a replacement defense.
So
which I think
new
is
champion
odd.
Riddle, obviously, then, right?
Of course.
Nope.
There's a
No
chance, but like
I don't know. Is there? I don't
guess
think there is.
because I don't know. He seems to be getting a bit of a push lately, and Orton's out. Although I've heard Orton Reigns at SummerSlam, which that just sounds unappealing. And the only thing I can think of is that they feuded when it was Shield Evolution. I remember Reigns and Orton faced off at SummerSlam 2014.
Right.
I don't know why I remember that, but
Because you remember everything.
yeah.
But I also think the way, like, Hell in a Cell, which we'll talk about in any other wrestling business really quickly too, it was really well received, right? So I think that's giving WWE this idea that they don't have to have Reigns defending on every pay-per-view for it to be successful.
Yeah.
By all accounts, it was like a really good show. So
yeah, I think he should though, or at least like
sometimes.
I don't know. I don't think he should be missing 2 in a row because like
it doesn't bother me. It almost makes the belt a little more prestigious, right? Because you don't see it very often. I don't know. I'm torn on how I feel about it.
I do get that, but also it's gonna start to seep back into Brock Lesnar syndrome for me, and I can't. I can't have that.
That infuriates you.
I don't like that because like I don't know. Like yes, it's prestige, but it also just feels like you're holding the title hostage from like I understand like not always defending it, but I also think like I don't know, he should be there regularly enough, and
that's good. Yeah, and part of that is you're used to the modern era where that's the thing, whereas I'm the old guy who's used to.
To be fair, he has been busting ass since 2020, right?
Sure.
For almost 2 years.
Yep.
So I'm okay with it for now, but like it is gonna start to seep into the Brock Lesnar thing for me, and I don't think they should be doing that again. Like Roman Reigns is the guy who is dominant like Lesnar, but not like Lesnar.
Yes. So we'll see if they keep it that way or they put it on somebody who's going to be around.
That should be interesting. I might even check that out.
Because for me, it was for sure it was going to go to Cody Rhodes, like 100%. But now, not 9 months out.
Now, if you were going to do that, Reigns would have to hold it until WrestleMania next year.
If you could,
because I think Rhodes would probably win the Rumble, right?
If the math works, yes, that would be I think the plan. He re-debuts for Rumble, wins.
I think that works out perfectly. But then Reigns has to hold it for like another.
And we know you're in a holding pattern
year, right?
Then.
So like I really don't know if that works out, and I think I want it to be him, but like, or I don't know if they can find a way to fast track a Rollins program for SummerSlam. Again, I will go to bat for Reigns Rollins, and then like you turn Rollins face like
the crowd is
what you do is
enjoying
like
him.
You turn Rollins face to build up to SummerSlam. You have Reigns versus Rollins SummerSlam event. I think that'd be great. I love the Rumble match. They almost had it there.
Right.
They almost had it. And then you have him run face for a few months, right? And then like maybe close to Rumble or maybe even after Rumble, he can turn heel in the build up to Road on the road to WrestleMania,
Yeah.
and then drops it to Rhodes is like that's a payoff to their feud, despite him having already lost
3 times.
3 times. Still, then Rhodes would still get a good title payoff, and we'd get a kind of logical end to Reigns' reign.
Because I think they already did a respect deal between Cody and Rollins on Raw, I think. Maybe
No, it was a false thing, and then he attacked Rhodes.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind then.
So I think like Rollins is their answer here, but they're not gonna see it because they're idiots, and I'm giving it to them right here.
You are, and they're listening.
They're
the new listeners we picked up.
I hope so.
WWE executive, easily for sure. I was hoping to surprise you with this one, but I know that you know now. So I think I only saw 1 or 2 vignettes for this coming soon star, and it's Giovanni Vinci. And it turns out that it is going to be a guy I really like, and that's Fabian Eichner, debuting some new persona, being repackaged. It seems like it's going to be like rich into all the fancy brands, that kind of thing. It seems like what it is, but I'm happy he's coming back because I think that guy is awesome. He may not be exactly like a big ball of charisma, but in ring, man, he can do everything.
Yeah, which is why I don't know why they always have to repackage him. I'm gonna see what his real name is actually. So.
I'm sure it was something along those lines, but anyways.
He's
is his
Fabian
name
Eichner, and now his Wikipedia thing is already Fabian Eichner is an Italian professional wrestler signed to WWE, where he performs on NXT brand under the ring name Giovanni Vinci. So it's already like set to his.
It's already canon.
So I believe his name is Fabian Eichner.
That is why it's not anymore.
It's a miracle he's kept it for this long too.
Yep. What else you got? I got 2 more.
I have the last one is actually no, I have 2 more. Sorry.
Nice.
Dave Meltzer gave Rhodes versus Rollins 5 stars to the match from Hell in a Cell. And to put this in perspective, this is the first main roster match to get that treatment in 11 years since Cena Punk from Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
So that is pretty crazy. The only other ones I think from WWE have been like a few select NXT ones. Even then, that's slim pickings, and I think that was at a time when NXT was clearly different, right? So this has been a while since he's done that. So that speaks volumes.
And I thought it was an excellent match. I wouldn't go 5 stars with it myself.
I didn't catch all of it.
I did think it was excellent.
I thought it was good from what I saw.
Oh, 100%. And we'll talk about it later, but just the drama of the injury and all of that storyline being there was fantastic. I'm not sure it was 5 stars, but it was absolutely over 4 stars, somewhere between 4 and 5 for me, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So what else do I have? New Japan Pro Wrestling has announced that they will crown New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team Champions on July 24th. So they're going to hold an 8-team single elimination tournament that's going to start on June 19th at, I think it's New Japan Strong Ignition, and then conclude on the 24th at High Alert. So the first round and the semifinals will take place on the same night, and so far no teams are announced. But I watched Strong this week. I'll probably keep watching it, or at least just check in on it. So I'm interested to see. I'm a sucker for a tournament, right?
Taylor Rust and insert name here.
So I don't know what tag teams they have. I haven't been watching regularly, but there's going to be 8 teams in it, so I'm interested, and we'll see where that goes.
Put Taylor Rust with someone called Rusted, insert other word here.
Could be. You never know.
Actually, I should have put some news, but I forgot until now, so this is off the top of my head. AEW has a new championship, right? We forgot to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, they do.
The All Atlantic Championship. So
lame.
That's cool. I'm okay with that.
Cool.
I don't love the name. I would have.
It's one of the very few things we disagree on
Rather
this show.
a better chosen one.
You're just get more belts. Give everybody a belt.
I think this is the only
you
one.
Sign a contract, you get a belt. That's what you want. That's your dream.
Participation awards.
Right.
No, I just need the one more. I think because the roster's so big. Like I'm not saying I don't want an overflow of belts. I think this is like a solid stopping point. Other than trios titles, I think that's a necessary component.
That one
I think
want.
This is all right. It looks a little too close to the women's title, but we'll allow it.
Yeah.
I saw someone say like Tony Khan loves the similar belts, like the TBS and TNT title, which I think that's supposed to look similar.
He does love belts.
And then
that's for sure.
Yeah, but so this is all right. There was already one qualifier. It was Pac versus Buddy Murphy. I'm gonna call him that on purpose.
Yeah.
And then next week we have Ethan Page versus Miro, and then at some point we'll also have Penta versus Malachi Black, which is pretty cool.
The talent involved in the tournament is awesome.
And so the winners go to a 4-way. You may notice I only mentioned 3 matches because there's a 4th match which will have representatives from New Japan.
Right?
So because the title match is at Forbidden Door, I forgot to mention. So
yes,
that'd be cool. It's unknown who it'll be yet. I hope it's someone interesting.
Me too.
I don't know who. Jeff Cobb. Huh?
Could be.
Jeff Cobb.
Could be.
Jay White.
Could be.
I'd rather Jay
He
White.
seems a bit above that though, probably.
Yeah, but he's Jay
I don't know.
White.
He is Jay White.
Yeah,
That
you
I
could
can
get
confirm.
get Jay White and Adam Cole to tag against some peeps.
Yep.
I don't know.
My last story. AEW is reportedly playing the long game with the ongoing MJF storyline. According to Dave Meltzer, they're willing to forego financial gains such as like having his merchandise pulled, right?
Which they did do.
They did in order to have a long-term payoff to this storyline. He reports to want people to think that he's gone, which would explain why commentators are not really mentioning him anymore on TV.
Genius.
And AEW social media and YouTube channels have stopped posting MJF related content, which I think is cool too.
I love it.
AEW also asked Warner Brothers Discovery to pull MJF from promotional spots and commercials for AEW. Discovery unfollowed MJF on Twitter and removed his profile page from their website. So for one, I love the lengths that they're willing to go to sort of blur these lines. I think it's fine.
Even
right?
if like I'm still positive it's a work,
Of
but
course.
I love that they're like at least committing to like if you're gonna do a work shoot, like I like that they're committing to it because that's what you got to do. Like even if you know it's fake, make it look as the least fake it can be.
I just listened to a podcast and I don't know why I keep listening to them because they're so pretentious and they try so hard to be contrary to every. So of course they spent like 15 minutes talking about how this promo was bad and everything wrong with wrestling and how it buries Wardlow and blah blah blah. And I just was like,
how does it bury
why,
Wardlow?
these guys, the fact that he's not selling anything after 10 power bombs 3 days before and being stretchered out on a neck brace.
Did mention it.
And the fact that Wardlow's moving on to fight security guards and not actual people, but we saw on Dynamite, right? He talks about what he's doing next. So, anyways, it's just these guys that will the mental gymnastics they will go through to be the opposite opinion of consensus, right? If consensus is this was an amazing promo, guaranteed one or both of them are going to come on and here's why it's awful for the business, right? And it's just that. I don't know. They're just kind of their opinions about wrestling are the very classic, like it should do this and it should do that and it shouldn't do this, right? So just kind of,
right.
I think it's fun. But anyways, do you have anything else?
One more thing is Paige will be leaving WWE in July when her contract expires, and I'm thinking what you're probably thinking. She was still contracted. I had no idea.
Right? Like I haven't seen her do anything.
I had no idea she was even under contract. So.
Cool. I knew they kept her for a while because remember they were doing that was it a documentary or movie or whatever it was with
Fighting
her?
With My Family.
Right. So I know they kept her around because they were hoping that was going to be
Fighting For My Family,
something amazing.
I don't know. It was something fighting family.
Yeah, exactly. But
about Paige, yeah. I had no idea she was even still around. I kind of just forgot she existed.
Yeah.
Because she got injured and
she
then
did.
Right before the first Women's Rumble, so that would have been like 4 years ago, at least.
And we don't have to watch her sticking her tongue out 1,000 times in every match.
Yeah, she used to hate that.
Oh my god, drives me crazy. Liv Morgan does it a little bit. There's a few of them that do it. Bugs me. I don't know why. Bugs me.
You didn't love him. I remember like it was funny because Demon Balor does sometimes.
Yep, don't like it.
And I think it's funny because the Demon Balor figure I have, the one head is that expression. So
I'm melting it.
Pretty
taking
funny.
It and melting it. I think that's it, right?
I think it is.
All right, so let's move into our first in-depth review of a weekly show, and that is taking a look at this week's AEW Dynamite.
And so we open the show with our Casino Battle Royal, which I thought it'd be a normal one, but nope, it's a Casino Battle Royal, so that...
And remember how I completely gapped on how these battle royals worked? I'm like, what's going on? It's only like 6 people, and you're like,
yeah, there's like 5 people starting. You're like, there's only 5 people, and I was like, it's a Casino Battle Royal, and you're like,
huh?
And then I had to be like, where the groups come in.
You're like, when the suits come in. Oh, right.
Yeah. So it'll be the winner of this faces Jon Moxley in tonight's main event, and the winner of that match will face New Japan's representative, either Hiroshi Tanahashi or Hiroki Goto. Definitely Hiroki Goto.
I'm not really interested in either of them at this point, but that's okay.
No, and I don't understand why you'd think to put a New Japan guy in.
It seems a little forced.
It seems like this is one of those matches where you don't need to have it be interpromotional because, like, as if Hiroshi Tanahashi or Hiroki Goto is going to be interim AEW champion. Like,
That's what I mean. I just don't feel like any company should be in a hurry to give people from another company shots at their titles. You know what I mean? Just doesn't
right.
make sense
Especially when
business-wise.
there's
If
not a
it's
champion yet. Like, sure, have them come in after like Mox or someone else would win the title, but
yeah,
like, I don't understand. Like, or like at least like make it a 3-way at least, so then like it, because then I feel like this is like so straightforward. It's like Mox clearly wins that. You know what I mean? Like,
feels like it to me.
it just seems like a whole vehicle to give it to Mox.
That
again.
is in my notes somewhere later. Yes.
Yeah. So our starting 5 is Tony Nese, Lance Archer, Darby Allin, Daniel Garcia, and Eduardo Kingston. Kingston goes right after Garcia as the other 3 observe. I'm just kind of skimming through the notables. Actually, there is like quite a bit though.
Yeah, there was more notables than a lot of battle royals.
Next
for sure.
group was more interesting. Jake Hager. Nope. Other than him.
Sorry, you said interesting? Sorry, and then you went with Hager first?
Yeah.
Wow.
More interesting aside from Jake Hager. Ricky Starks, Jake Hager, Phoenix, Swerve Strickland, and Keith Lee. So Swerve and Our Glory both entered.
Ew.
Of course, they said that.
Yep, they did.
Swerve and Lee hit a loaded tag offense to Tony Nese, which was pretty cool.
Yep, I thought they looked good.
Lee and Archer square off after Lee eliminates Nese. Archer also gets eliminated by Keith Lee. Next group contains John Silver. Insert first name Takeshita. So
yeah,
yay, he was back. I cannot say his first name because I don't remember.
We were very happy to see him.
Yes, I actually there was a decent pop for me for Takeshita, which
there was.
That speaks to how they did with him in that match, because I was very happy to see him, even though he didn't do a whole lot here.
Konosuke Takeshita?
I have no idea, because I thought it was.
I think so. Something like that.
Konosuke Takeshita, but now it's Takeshita, so I don't even know.
Oh, right, Takeshita. I got to remember that too.
I don't
Sorry,
know.
carry on.
I just call him Takeshita because I just, that's all I know.
It's fun to say.
And then also, it is. And then there's also Max Cass and the Ass Boys. Of course, we got like a little rap thing.
We did get a rap thing.
Typically do.
Yep.
Then after the commercial break, the next group came in, which was Powerhouse Hobbs, both members of Redragon, Dante Martin, and Wheeler Yuta returns after his excursion to New Japan in the Super Junior tournament. And you're all right. You're talking about G1 and summer. Hopefully, some AEW guys go over.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, like because Yuta went to the Super Junior. So
thinking about cherry picking some of the matches from G1 this year,
or just exhaust ourselves and watching the whole thing.
Ooh, that's a big commitment. It's a lot.
I probably wouldn't.
It's usually pretty awesome, but it's a lot.
So then Lee eliminates Gun Club, and Swerve actually comes in from behind to eliminate Lee.
And they share sort of a look there. Like, I can't tell if that's going anywhere or if
I can't tell either, because Lee looked kind of angry, and Swerve was just kind of like, Swerve was Swerve.
And Swerve's going like, what'd you think I was going to do, kind of thing, right?
Right. I think it'd be really stupid if it is anything, because I agree. Think it shouldn't be, as this has happened many times
and
before.
I'm just starting to like them as a tag team, and they haven't been together very long, so
yes,
I don't
and
think
I
it's
like
time.
it. I think it's okay if it's like it's a battle royal thing.
And Keith Lee could just be like, I would have done the same thing if I had the chance, and then that's our way around any sort of tension, right?
Or like maybe you could be like a little miffed because like but like I don't think it should be anything. Like it shouldn't be a whole deal.
Agree.
On the final entry, I guess you could call it Joker. I kind of forgot that there was a Joker because they didn't make a deal out of it. Is Andre El Idolo, which is actually kind of a return, which I just didn't think of anything of it.
Yeah, he looked good, man. It's nice
because he hasn't wrestled. They mentioned he hasn't wrestled in a while, and I totally forgot about that. But like we just saw him in the package with Roosh on Double or Nothing, yes. So I kind of just didn't think anything of it that he hasn't been on in a while.
Yeah.
There was actually a pretty solid exchange between Hobbs and Takeshita.
Loved it. I made a note of that too.
And when Takeshita sent onto the apron, he gets taken out.
Boo.
His team has a bunch of dum-dums. Swerve actually took out Darby as he was running to the corner, so that was pretty cool. And Andrade boots Swerve out after because Andrade is a little poo. There's a final 4, which was Phoenix, Andrade, Yuta, and Kyle O'Reilly. There was one thing where Phoenix went for the rolling cutter, and there's that interesting low blow from Andrade. That was kind of cool.
Yep.
This is where it picked up for sure. Kyle O'Reilly was holding Yuta for a shot. Andrade ends up inadvertently getting tossed out, as there's kind of an Andrade-Kyle O'Reilly alliance there.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle O'Reilly hits a boot to knock Yuta off the apron, so Kyle O'Reilly actually picked up the win, so he'll be facing Mox later on the show.
Yeah, I'm on record as not being a huge Battle Royal fan, but I thought this one was pretty well done, and it served as a fun opener for this show. I liked it. There was some pretty standard Battle Royal stuff early on, but then they also used some of that time early to further and maybe introduce storylines, right? So we got like Darby Allin and O'Reilly went after each other right away because they have history, right? You have Swerve eliminating Keith Lee, whether it becomes something or not. It was interesting. And you also have Kingston and Garcia pairing off, right, as sort of part of that feud that's going on, along with any other Jazz and Blackpool Combat Club stuff going on. And like you said, there was an awesome sequence between Takeshita and Hobbs. Things got really fun when it got down to like about 6 people, I think, as that tends to happen. They actually get a bit of room and they let the guys do stuff. I thought from that point on, it was pretty great. I'm really happy to see O'Reilly get some love outside of being in a tag team, right? Because he, a little bit surprising to me, got the win over Darby Allin at Double or Nothing, right? And then winning this.
Oh, right. That's right.
So he's like getting a little bit of a push, which I love as a singles guy because he's awesome. I thought Hobbs and Swerve came across really good in this. Takeshita obviously got a moment to shine. And I thought like the length of this, I think it was like 24 minutes or something, felt about perfect. It didn't drag for me. I thought it was a really strong start to the show. And again, I'm not a Battle Royal guy, but I enjoyed this one. You?
Yeah, I like this and I think it's evident from the notes is that there was actually like a lot to note because usually I try to just skim it.
It's like so and so eliminated so and so.
Yeah, I try to usually keep it down to that, but I think this one there was actually like a decent amount like where it's not that, and
Right.
only some eliminations. Like there's a lot of eliminations I didn't cover. For a battle royal kind of match, I thought it was a pretty good one. It only got crowded sometimes, like with brawling when there's a lot. But I think generally they left time and room for spotlights
Me too.
for some exchanges between some guys. Some of them were quite good. I noted it as always when it boiled down to the final few. The action picked up. I think that was great as well. It's the natural pace of things. I think Andrade would have worked better to win because as much as I love Kyle O'Reilly, I don't think he has a hope of beating Mox tonight. Whereas Andrade is at least a little more believable, even though I bet Mox wins either way.
Yes.
But I still think Kyle O'Reilly, good for him. We get a quick promo from Mox after where he says, for 3 years he has been blazing a trail in AEW, something in New Japan too. And it's funny how things work out. It hasn't been easy. He told us in January he would grab pro wrestling by the balls. And with all due respect to Kyle O'Reilly, he is in there with the wrong guy in the wrong place in the wrong time because this opportunity in Forbidden Door belonged to him. It's 3 years in the making. It will all belong to him. I thought it was a solid promo from Mox. Audio felt kind of off, but I'm going to ignore that because I thought it was a great little promo here.
Yeah.
I thought, like he said, like hi to his mom at the end. That was pretty funny.
Yes.
So I really like this as a little bit. I thought it was a great classic Mox promo. I think he's for sure gonna win. Unfortunately for Kyle O'Reilly, but I do like them both at least.
Yeah, how nice is it to have a guy, and I think AEW has multiple of these guys who can build interest in a match that was like just revealed now and will happen the same night, right?
Yeah.
So I thought he sounded really motivated here, and I like the
Mox
like,
is really just like an all-around talent.
and I like the whole like you got the wrong guy on the wrong night stuff, just to sort of be like nothing personal, Kyle O'Reilly, but you're not winning because you're just kind of going up against Moxley sort of thing. So I thought that was good too.
Yeah, I really like this as a little bit, and like you said, yes, building some interest in the match
Right
like,
away.
I mean, I think on paper it's an interesting match, but I think Mox having a promo here makes sense because like it's not like I remember when Dante Martin and Matt Sydal were watching the Blackpool Combat Club, and that was just weird.
Yes.
But this makes sense because he should be watching this,
should
right?
be.
So I like
Absolutely.
that. There's a quick video package to reveal what we talked about earlier, the AEW All Atlantic Championship. So that's cool. Not the best how they designed, but I don't think it's bad.
It's fine. Yeah, it's okay.
I think it's good. And our first qualifier is Buddy Matthews versus Pac, which
For me, that's close to a dream match. I'm not gonna lie.
I would have to agree. I thought like before the show they announced it like a little while. I had sent it to you. I was like, oh my god,
Yes.
Buddy Matthews versus Pac. And then like just on this show they announced like this was a qualifier for that. I was like, sure, added stakes to this.
Absolutely.
A few notables from the match. There's a fast back and forth early on. There's a nice draping TET by Pac. Stiff back and forth strike exchange won by Pac with a snap German suplex and a lariat, which he excels at the German suplex. I still remember Fastlane 2017. He absolutely dropped Jack Gallagher on his head. It was
Right.
epic.
Oh my god, Jack Gallagher.
Yeah,
Forgot about him. Isn't he disgraced, I think?
I think so.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
so
he
too.
got
Me
speaked
too.
out.
Spoked out?
Spoken
Spoked
out.
outed?
He got outed.
I
Yeah.
think so too.
There was a nice poison run by Pac followed by a corner pump kick, and he eventually wins with the classic Black Arrow.
Yeah, we got to see the Black Arrow.
Love that. What'd you think?
Excellent match. Like pretty much what I expected, right? I didn't want this match to end. I wish they could have got a few more minutes even, or if they want to circle back around to this at some point, I'm totally fine with it. They're both just so quick, so crisp, evenly matched, and kind of similar styles, right? It's just like Buddy Murphy is like a slightly larger version of Pac almost. Really a treat for me to watch this. I love both of these guys. Pac's one of my favorites in the world. I'm on the record, I don't really want another belt in AEW, but I am a sucker for a tournament. And like you ran down, the talent involved in this tournament is awesome, right? So
Yeah, it's really nice. I think the only match that's not super interesting is Paige Miro, because I don't see Ethan Page winning, unfortunately. Although
right.
even though I'd like him to.
Yeah, me too. So I thought this was a great match in the middle of like the first hour of a weekly wrestling show. Very impressed. Pretty much exactly what I would expect from these guys here. So really liked it. You?
Yeah, I thought it was great. It was exactly what you'd expect or want from these two. I wish we got more of it. I'm not saying like that they didn't get enough time. I just would have liked more of it,
Exactly.
if I'm being honest.
Agreed.
They mentioned Pac's Iron Man match. Like if they did an Iron Man match like Pac did with Omega, I wouldn't complain. Like I would like these guys to go longer. I think it would be epic. I'd like Murphy and Black versus Phoenix and Pac. No discredit to King and Penta, but I think because like that would just be like insane flippy crap all
It
over the
would be.
place. It would be very interesting. This was great. It was even made better by the sudden stakes involved in the new title. Like this came a complete left field for me. Like I did want another title, but like I didn't think it would be anytime soon. If that makes sense. Like I thought they would kind of wait for it.
Yeah, I thought the next thing we'd get would be the trios. I didn't expect the singles title at all.
Yeah, and I thought like if they were gonna do a singles title, they would get the trios titles out first. Cause I think that is definitely the more pressing championship. Like as much as I want another singles title, I think it helps out the rosters because there is so much.
Right.
But I do think trios titles make more sense to have first.
I agree.
So Pac could win the title too. I think he's a solid contender. Or if I assume Malachi Black gets in there, he would be another one. I don't think it's the New Japan guy, and I don't think it's Ethan Page or Miro.
No, me either.
So I think it's one of them, or even maybe Penta gets in.
Could be.
And speaking of Penta, the mask he was wearing was insane. Like
yeah,
it
you
was
were very much
so cool. It was like this half black. It was half black and half white, and it was like it was shaped differently too. It didn't have the round
extra stuff on the top.
Yeah, it was like pointier, I guess. Like it looked so insane. It almost didn't look like Penta.
You were quite a fan of it.
It was awesome. Like he needs to wear like an all half and half gear, and that would just be the coolest thing. It was so cool.
Dreams.
It was so awesome, and like when he posted and I saw comments, I was like, glad I'm not the only one who noticed that because it looks so cool.
Yep.
Next we have a quick Eddie Kingston promo. He says Hager cost him his shot. He says he hates Garcia in 2.0. He says he will still get Jericho. He says he wants Hager on Rampage. Doesn't care if it's after the NBA or the NHL. He wants him on Rampage. I actually like this a lot because Kingston was just fired up, even acknowledging the TV time and stuff. Like he was like, he was acknowledging that he knows he's like on the clock or whatever.
He was doing what MJF did.
Yeah,
last
something
week.
like that. Yeah.
I know the C means 30 seconds or whatever. Yeah.
And it was simple, but it was great. I don't care about the match, but I really liked the little promo.
Same.
It was very Eddie Kingston.
He's always great, and they use the Battle Royal to like further this feud, and that makes sense, right? And again,
which is what you like to see in those kind of things.
And
right?
like you're saying, this is Kingston Hager's not a match I want, but I imagine Eddie gets a win here at least because he needs wins, and Hager doesn't.
When is the last time Hager did anything that wasn't a faction match?
He shouldn't do anything, so they're using him perfectly. I would say if you have a contract for him, I would say this is how you use him sparingly.
He's AEW's answer to Doc Gallows,
and it's unfortunate because he's huge and he has an amateur background. He's just anti-charisma in human form.
Send him back to WWE because I don't care what happens there.
Yeah,
like I don't know how he survived this long when Stu Grayson is gone.
Right.
Like Stu Grayson, man.
Yep.
Next, Trent Beretta speaks, which are 3 words you don't expect to hear together.
No, not in a like lengthy promo on your own sort of idea, or at least that's what it looked like it was going to be.
Mm-hmm. Trent Beretta says he's bummed out because today is National Best Friends Day and his friends are not here. He's also bothered because they, referring to Roppongi Vice, didn't win in the tag titles, the ROH tag titles, but they also didn't lose, so he wants FTR to make things right. They come out. Cash says Trent Beretta is right. It doesn't sit well with them either. They want to show they are the best on the planet. Dax says if it were up to them, they would do right here, but Romero is in Japan, and the problem should be with Will Ospreay's United Empire. Right on cue, their theme hits, which I thought was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And out walks Will Ospreay himself, the flippy little dude.
Yep.
An Aussie Open attack from behind some other guy. Insert his name here. I don't remember.
Yeah, I forget too.
You're trying to remember.
I thought I had it.
And so
Or rare on air. I don't know.
it's something like that. So that the Aussie Open, that guy attacked Trent Beretta and FTR. And Osprey joins in too. Aussie Open hit some cool tag move on Trent Beretta I really liked, and Osprey falls with a hidden blade elbow, which he put an elbow pad on for, so that was cool. And for those who know, I'm kind of a fan of Aussie Open. Because we saw them. I think it was at the Progress versus Smash
It was.
show. So we saw them. I think I even met them. Like I remember talking to them for a second.
We talked to them. Yep.
Yeah. So we saw them 2019 would have been August 2019. We saw them live. So
Yep.
I do like them. I do know they've been affiliated with Osprey. So I think it's cool that they came in.
Aaron Henair, something like that. That's who that mystery dude is.
Yeah, I remember you telling me. I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, I thought Trent was pretty bland here, and honestly, didn't he? To me, he felt like a prop in the angle between what looks like FTR and the United Empire, right?
Yeah.
I'm personally not a huge Osprey fan, but he is a huge name in the world of wrestling, so I get them including him. This whole people invading from another company obviously isn't a fresh idea in the world of wrestling, but that's not to say that it can't work if it's done well,
Could
right?
be done better 2 decades later.
Now, my note is, so maybe you can clarify, the Aussie opener finisher looked pretty cool, but in this moment, I have no recollection of what it was.
Oh.
But it looked cool. Do you remember?
I don't.
But we were like,
I
oh,
just remember
that's
it's cool. Okay, wait. I think I could... Okay, let me see if I can find the clip on Instagram or something.
and
I do remember liking it. That is funny because I am in the exact same position. Now that you mentioned it, I didn't even... That thought didn't even cross my mind, but God.
It was a relatively quick segment and introduced a new group without really having them have to speak, which I think is fine. So I'm fine with this, and it might work out. Again, not a huge Osprey fan, but I get what they're doing here, and it could work really well depending on how they follow through with it.
Where is it? I can find it. Okay, so I'm gonna watch and see if I can find.
You're gonna look up their finisher. I can't remember what it was.
No, I'm trying to find the clip from the.
It involved both of them, but.
Oh wait, actually.
Carry on. I'll try and find it while you're
okay.
Because you're driving here, so go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I thought it was cool. I thought the promo from Trent Beretta was all right. FTR were much better though. I thought it was really cool when Osprey came out. Cool because he's a major name for New Japan, so it's good we're getting those kind of names in here now. And Aussie Open attacked them. I don't know who the fourth guy was. Insert his name again, sure. Henair or whatever. But it was cool for a few reasons. I think Osprey, because he's a big New Japan guy, so it's cool. He's in. I think he's solid. And I remember Aussie Open from that show we went to, which I mentioned, so I'm happy to see them here. And more build to Forbidden Door, which I like, because I think we do need to start getting there. If it means Trent Beretta and FTR versus Osprey and Aussie Open, I'm all for that, which they did on last night on Rampage. So
it's the Aussie Arrow Fidget Spinner combo. So hold on.
Okay.
This is good.
Sorry.
This is good podcasting as we watch a video highlight, right? That was it?
Okay. It was like yes, that was it. It was it's like a weird double spinny thing.
Good thing thank you, Excalibur. Where's Excalibur when we need him? Because he would nail this.
It's like they pick him up with a double pump handle grip or something and then spin
flip
him down.
And slam him. It looks cool.
Flip him and slam him.
There's it.
Yeah, I'm also suggesting because I know they're also in United Empire. You throw in, so you go Osprey, Aussie Open, Cobb, Great O'Con versus Trent Beretta, FTR, pluck 2 other guys in there.
Yeah,
you have a fun 10-man tag there. Because you did the trios one last night, like a bunch of dopes. I don't know what, but I feel like some multi-man tags bring. I think this works out perfectly because I doubt Osprey's going in a single slot. I would prefer that he goes in a United Empire because I don't know, because I feel like then there's other single spots for other guys, and I feel like this works as a multi-man tag. I don't know, we'll see.
And if you're not gonna be there long term, they don't need to push you as a singles guy, right? If you're just there for a little bit.
That was a complaint. Osprey lost his debut, but I'm not thrilled. I probably prefer because I think Trent Beretta could take a pin, but I don't know. It's not like Osprey and Aussie Open are sticking around long.
No, I don't think so.
Next we get an Undisputed Era interview with Regal's also there. Regal says he's taught Redragon many things and asks if Kyle O'Reilly thinks he's really ready for Mox. It will hurt him to call the match where he gets his head cracked open. Kyle O'Reilly says he can't fight the best and fight for the title. Tonight he'll do both. He has all the momentum.
The momentum. That's the key.
And Cole leaves to do commentary for the next match for some reason. I like this. I thought Regal's Promo's cool. I think it makes sense that he has history with Red Dragon, but I'm glad that they mentioned that because that would not made
I
sense to
did
me.
like that they acknowledged that
Yeah, because
history.
I would have had no clue. I like Kyle Riley. I think he was pretty good for what he got. Like, I don't think he's the best promo, but I think they gave him a decent amount here.
No, I thought Regal was great as he always is, and I also thought Kyle was fired up and sounded better than usual. And I was wondering, I think I mentioned it in the moment while we were watching it, like, is Adam Cole abandoning him to go to commentary? Is that a bit of foreshadowing or like the classic breadcrumb, right? Because it's like they kind of need him, and he's just like, I'm busy, I got to go to commentary.
Right.
So I'm wondering if that's anything.
I don't think it is, because next we have Hangman Page versus David Finlay. Why is he here? I still don't know.
Yeah, he's
and Adam Cole on commentary.
Finlay, I told you, like I've seen a bunch of him, so he's deceptively very fast, but I like him in the ring. It's just everything else I don't find him super interesting. But anyways.
Adam Cole's on commentary with his big belt.
That's right.
Big, square, chunky
pink
boy.
belt.
Hey, it's black with pink highlights, all right?
Yeah,
Baker's
that's fine.
got the pink
It's cool.
one.
Yeah.
All right. She's got pink with black highlights, so it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of technical work early on by Finlay. There's a suicide dive by Hangman since Finlay pretty hard into the barricade. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
He collided pretty good.
He did. He hit it hard.
Mm-hmm. There's a springboard clothesline by Hangman with Finlay on the apron, followed by a slingshot punch to the outside. Mom said she's going to cut the grass.
Nice.
A Uranagi backbreaker by Finlay.
Thanks, Mom.
And buckshot lariat by Hangman gets the win. After he cuts a promo, he says there's a lot he wants to say about the title, but tonight's not the night, and he wasn't in the Battle Royal. He won't be getting a title shot soon by the looks of it. Since it's the case, there isn't just one world title in pro wrestling. There isn't even just one world title in WWE. So
true.
So at Forbidden Door, he wants the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and he wants Okada, feeling those rumors we mentioned last week. Cole cuts him off and says he has to be delusional. He says Jay White could win it, but Hangman at Dominion, which I believe is tomorrow.
Is it?
I think so. I think so. But he didn't think of it because Hangman doesn't think like a champion, and he isn't one. And while he lost the AEW title, Cole's on a roll, winning the Owen Hart tournament, banged up, I guess. And he should get a shot at the IWGP title, and suggests Hangman stay out of his way. What do you think?
I thought the match was fast and physical. It was a good way to introduce people to Finlay. A nice way for Page to sort of get back on track with a win against a somewhat quality opponent, at least, right? The result was never in doubt, but I did enjoy the match. I think at some point, though, a couple criticisms. They're going to need to provide some background and context to these arrivals from New Japan. Like, I feel like they're kind of working under the assumption that everybody knows and is up on New Japan, which I don't think is the case. Even I'm not as up on it.
Even I'm not, and I'd like to be.
Right. So I think they need to just like, they're just showing up and we're expected to pop for them because they're new and exciting,
even
right?
Like get like a quick package for Finlay before like
and they might
like something like, you know, for the breakout tournaments they always have like introductory packages.
Yes,
just have Finlay say he's gonna win, and that's all you need,
because it's just kind of like here they are, right? And it's no context.
Yeah,
at all,
anything to give us like a bit of context, maybe even like a something like a highlight reel. I don't know.
I thought solid promos from Cole and Page afterward, but for me personally, there's just too much gold in this company right now because you've got AEW stuff, Ring of Honor stuff, New Japan stuff, Heart belts. Even though I know they're not defended, they're still brought out and carried every week. There's just a lot of gold for me at this point right now.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping, like, because I hope that Ring of Honor gets their own show soon, so like that the Ring of Honor titles can like go there because
go away.
Yeah, and because like I don't mind them being defended every now and then. I'm okay with that being an occasional thing.
Yes.
But I think like if it's guys like FTR who I feel like could walk the line between both, I only really need to see them with the titles. Cause, like I like when people have like 2 belts or something, but like because I feel like once you get rid of the Ring of Honor titles, say like AEW's got like the world title, the TNT title, the Atlantic title, tag titles, women's title, TBS title, trios titles. Like
a lot of titles.
That's not bad. Yeah, but it's also across a few divisions.
It is.
So I feel like that's okay. Like 7 titles total for how big their roster is. That's fine. I think once you scrap out all the Ring of Honor titles, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
But like, I think like it is. There's a lot in the mix, especially if you bring in like New Japan, like with their tag titles. Who is it?
I don't know.
It was Fale and Chase Owens, who I saw with the IWG titles, because you were watching Impact.
Not a big fan of either of them, but that's okay.
No, I know you don't like Fale. I know you said before. I don't remember.
He's just always
but,
been like the big guy who's not super
the
good.
Doc Gallows before Doc Gallows started to suck.
And to be fair, maybe he's a lot better now because I'm not regularly watching it
He's also a lot
for
older
years.
now, so
yeah, that's true.
it's been like a decade since Bullet Club almost.
Yep.
I thought it was a solid match. I thought Finley was pretty good. Had some good technical work at the beginning. Moved pretty fast at points. He was solid. Hangman got a good show. I'm glad he got a solid rebound win here. I like the promo after. I think he delivered it well. I think what he said made a lot of sense because there is a lot of going on with the AEW title, and if he wasn't considered for the Battle Royal, he's probably not gonna be able to for a bit. So I think it made sense, right? So I think it's a perfect way to also segue him into that rumored match with Okada, and I'm very excited if we get that.
Me too.
I also kind of like the involvement of Cole. I hope he gets better soon because I thought he got a good promo here. But because he will either have to, I think it'll either be Hangman Cole 3 with the qualifier facing with the winner facing Okada, or maybe Jay White. Unfortunately, I doubt it.
Yeah.
Or we could get a triple threat for the IWGP title, which I would also very much enjoy.
Me too.
It's just saying like an all around good situation. Like I think you don't really have a bad outcome here, even if it ended up being Cole Okada,
Fine.
which I'm perfectly fine with. I
Yep.
personally prefer Hangman. I just think that's more interesting. But I would honestly be fine with any combination, or like Hangman Jay White. Sure, I'm okay with that.
Me too.
I mean, would Okada be more interesting? Sure, but again, no bad outcome there.
I agree.
Next we get Wardlow speaks. In the ring.
Hold on, you missed a super important
Did I?
Thunder Rosa where Marina Shafir, where you were like, is she flirting with her? Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Rosa was like issuing an open challenge. I didn't know this because I totally forgot. But then and Shafir comes in. She's like saying something. I've been like,
you're like, that sounds sexual.
yeah. I don't remember what she said, but it was really funny, and her tone was just
her
like
delivery did not match.
her
the
tone
words.
was not helping.
No.
And then she said a second line. I'm like, that furthers my opinion.
Yeah.
And it was really funny. I was just like, you had to hear it. You could probably find it too because it was like one of those earlier today things.
Yes, it was.
So Wardlow speaks after, and he says he asked not to be in the Battle Royal like a big dumb idiot, and that is because CM Punk is our champion. So if he isn't beating Punk, he doesn't want it yet, like a big dumb idiot.
Yeah, it seemed like a weak reason to opt out of the main title scene.
An oddly noble thing too.
Although I kind of predicted this, right? Which I can't wait to get to. One told you. But go ahead. What else is happening? Is that all he said?
Did you? When did you say that?
Remember that I said like he needs to be steamrolling opponents to win a title, and it could probably be the TNT title.
Because was that before he faced Guy the first time?
You can't have him. No, just based off of his build with MJF, right? Is how do you have him killing people for months, killing one of your top stars, squashing him with 10 power bombs? Like, how do you not have him just steamrolling people for a while? You have to. Exactly. And you can't do that in the main title picture because you're making a whole bunch of your headliners look bad. So this makes complete sense, right? He needs to just crush everybody, get the title off of Sky, and defend it for a very long time, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He tells Punk to heal up real quick because he'll be waiting. He says there is a title he does want that few men have carried that brought respect, and many have diminished it. He says it's a title he had it 1 month ago, but got screwed. He wants the TNT title. Sky walks out looking like he wants a fight. Paige and Lambert stop him. Lambert shouts at Wardlow saying he's 100%. And he says he's all elite now. He has the time. He will wait till he's 110%. Then we cut to the Tron, which has a promo from Sterling playing.
Oh, right.
He says Wardlow ripped up legal documents and dummy can't do that because he is a nice guy. Wardlow can face him in court, or he can wrestle 20 of the guards in an elimination match. Either way, he will pay. Wonder which one he'll choose because that makes sense.
So I guess we're getting a 20-on-1 match to further the whole Wardlow kills security guards, and then I imagine he's going to just run towards that championship. It makes sense, I think. So I was fine. I thought Wardlow and Sterling did a good job here.
Yeah, I thought the Wardlow promo was solid. Not the best reason for not going after the title. I think
I thought that was a bit weak too.
Was much stronger.
It was like, I'm not going after the title because CM Punk. What?
Yeah, like because he's
I don't know.
Injured. That's like be like I don't know what it would be like.
I don't want the interim. I want the main. I guess I don't know. Whatever.
Because it matters.
It's fine.
It's alright. It's nitpicking. It's okay. It doesn't make much sense for him to go main eventing already, anyways. Maybe cause like as good as he's been doing, he's not an all around talent yet.
Not yet.
But I think a TNT title is a good spot for him.
I do too.
And he'll likely win. and C, because now you have him going after that mid-card title, but then you still have another mid-card title. So it's
Well,
good.
I guess, yeah.
Well, you will.
I will, for sure. There will be one, whether I like it or not.
Young
I don't
Bucks
know.
promo.
Yeah.
This feels like very recent.
Predicted this too, that they wouldn't be done with the Hardys yet.
You're half right though, because it's not.
True.
It's not a
Hey,
full.
I'll take half right, man. Beats being wrong.
Half wrong.
True.
So
Hey, focus on the positive. I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
I'm glass half empty when it means you being wrong.
I've never understood that thing because to me it depends. If the glass was empty and you poured it halfway, it's half full. If the glass was full and you emptied it halfway, then it's half empty. That's how my mind works.
Yeah, but like,
The age-old problem solved.
How does that?
I don't know.
It's just gonna confuse me.
Anyways, keep
Speaking
talking
of being
wrestling.
confused, does anyone know a dry shampoo? Like, does anyone use dry shampoo? Can someone tell me that they use dry shampoo?
Somebody reach out to Jack.
Can
FNS_wrestling_podcast.
Can someone specifically explain to me how dry shampoo works?
We saw
you
it
were
in
trying to
Walmart
explain
today,
to me multiple times,
and his mind was blown by this.
I don't like that. Just doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
it just doesn't like.
So somebody contact
You're
us.
like, you leave it in. I'm like, why would you leave it in? Or like,
explain it to him.
You wash it dry. Like, it doesn't make sense at all. Someone, if anyone uses dry shampoo, please explain how you do that,
understand how it works,
why you do that, and who your therapist is.
Okay, carry on.
So Matt says what a week last week was. They recount their wins last week, and they are back. They want their titles back. Hardy's come in. Matt says he thought they would be burying them, referring to the Bucks burying Hardy's, but they were just bragging, and he reminds them how they beat the Bucks, and they deserve a title shot. Christian comes in, which Jurassic Express said they really should keep the door locked. He says he doesn't think either of them deserve a shot, but the Bucks did pin Jungle Boy. It wasn't for the titles. When it is for the titles, it'll be different, because now you can't pin him. He's going to issue the challenge to both teams, challenges them to a 3-way tag ladder match for the titles next week at Road Rager, which was when Malachi Black debuted last year, just to remind you. And Jungle Boy's like, he keeps going like, what, like as if like this was not agreed upon. Again, like Christian doing this, but this time it's like it is what you thought last time, right? Where it's Jungle Boy's like kind of like, hold on, what?
Yes, that was clear this time that he did not appreciate that match being made like on the spot without consulting with him, right? I thought. Yeah. So like I said, I figured they weren't quite done with each other. It's not exactly what I want, but the first match wasn't bad.
I don't mind this because it'll be like
they're adding a stipulation and another team. So
I don't remember last time they did. Oh wait, no, that's not even true. Scorpio Sky and Sammy Guevara.
Right.
I was gonna be like, oh, I don't remember last time. No, that's not even true. I do like it though because I think that the Bucks could do some crazy stuff, and I think Jungle Boy could be interesting. I'd like to see what Luchasaurus does too. I think those teams will be good, and then also I think it could hide some weaknesses for the Hardys, or it'll shine light on those weaknesses. It could benefit the Hardys' image, or it could be a detriment.
Because we noted in the Bucks Hardys match that the Bucks were not working their normal pace, right? Like because they just can't with those two.
The Hardys in like the tables match was one of their worst ones.
It was bad. It made my list. It's on my list.
Right. So this could either make that list or be okay.
Yep.
Because it won't make the best list.
Speaking of making lists, this match was close for me. I did not enjoy.
Yeah. Next we get Thunder Rosa versus Play, aka Marina Shafir, for the AEW Women's Championship.
My first note is, sorry, why does Shafir deserve a title shot? And you said she's ranked 5th, so that's the answer.
That is all the explanation you need. Also, she asked for it, which in babyface world is you get a title shot.
Yes, that's right.
So those two, I can't disagree with those cold hard facts right there.
That's right.
So I don't even know why you're asking that, if I'm being honest. I agree. Shafir deserves a title shot. If she had asked sooner, I would say she deserves 2 title shots. Unless she wins, then she still gets, I don't know. Notables, you want to guess how many there is?
2.
Yep.
Nice.
I was half paying attention in the beginning because it was boring, man.
My first note is the holds and counters to start seem slow and clunky despite Shafir having an MMA background. Like they were doing things, but like If you were to contrast this with, like, let's say Daniel Bryan and somebody doing this, it'd be
Oh,
like,
don't do
I
them
know that's
that
not
dirty.
fair, but like
Oh.
anyways, go ahead. Talk
Yeah.
about your notables.
There's a dropkick by Rosa with Shafir on the middle rope, but it's where like she like goes for a dropkick, but then like she kind of like jumps off them as if it's like a stomp. So I don't even, you can't. It's not a dropkick.
I think she thinks, and maybe other people think, it looks cool because she drop kicks them and then lands on her feet, right? But to me, I don't know.
It just looks less impactful.
It doesn't look that great to me.
It's almost unnerving. So it just looks not like a natural.
She did it twice in a row, right? I think. Anyways, doesn't matter. Carry on.
It still looks like she's going for a new normal dropkick, and it looks like it's gonna be cool, and then it's that, and then I'm just like, no.
Because it's like you're stopping your follow through, which would add force to it, right? It's like you're cutting it off so that you can land on your feet because you think it's cool, and I don't think it's cool.
Like when Cross doesn't follow through.
I'd rather you do like Saray, where it looks like you're killing them, right? With that drop kick in the ropes. But anyways.
There's a Death Valley driver by Rosa for 2. Rosa rolls through a suplex. I think she got some roll for the win. I didn't pay attention to that.
She did. She countered a suplex into a roll up or something like that.
Shafir attacks Rosa more after the match. Tony Storm makes a save. Rosa hits her finisher. Tony Storm hands her the title. Yay.
And teases like looking at the title sort of thing, right? So yeah, I don't know, man. The crowd wanted to get behind Thunder Rosa here because they do love her, but I think they were struggling to get into this match, as I was as well. I didn't really enjoy this. I'm quickly becoming of the opinion that Marina Shafir just isn't very good, right? And we were hoping like, because we hadn't seen her in so long. Maybe
not a
she's
lot
been
in
training
NXT either, right?
Maybe she's good. She's not. I think she may have technical knowledge, but she doesn't look good as a professional wrestler. She, to me, feels like a very, very budget version of Mercedes Martinez, who I quite like, right? So I'm fine with Tony Storm being Rosa's next opponent. I imagine you're not going to agree with that, but I don't think she has a chance to win, but she's looked pretty good in singles and tag match lately. So, and really, like, my question to you would be, who else do they give this shot to, right? Like, who's next? I don't know.
Deeb, like, I know they just did that, but like,
and I love that match.
Who else do you go to? That's like,
I mean, are they going to heat up Hater at some point? I don't know.
I don't buy that.
She's not ready.
I don't buy that. I don't.
And here's a take people are going to disagree with, I think, because people seem to love Thunder Rosa. I think she's good, but I don't think she's great. I think she has really good matches with strong opponents, but she doesn't seem to be able to elevate lesser talent like Shafir at this point.
It seems to drag her down.
So she definitely connects with the crowd, which is a hard thing to do. So that's great. But I think she's just a very good performer. I don't think she's at that great tier yet, but it doesn't mean she can't get there. She's still pretty young. So, yeah, I was not a fan of this match at all.
Yeah, it was not great. It does not help Rosa's title reign. It kind of recovered, but like not enough.
It started off worse than it ended.
It was off to a very shaky start.
But
There's not
good.
A lot to note here. No. Shafir did not look great. It was a weaker outing for Rosa as well. I'm starting to get unsure with Rosa as champion. I keep wanting to think it'll turn out good. She's just been all right so far.
Yeah, for me. Yes.
I'm waiting for it to improve more, but it might just be one of those times where I'm just waiting for it. Like waiting for someone to impress me, and like Tony Storm.
I think her inability to cut promos, right? Like that's like
you gotta be able to heat up a match.
Maybe Britt Baker isn't better than Rosa in the ring. That like you could debate that at least, but character-wise, promo-wise, it's
Baker's better all around.
Off the charts, right? And so that just makes her overall presentation and time as champion way more interesting. Because Rosa does not have that outside the ring piece at all, in my opinion. And that's tough when you're the champion because you're expected to sort of carry segments and promos and stuff, and she can't at this point. So anyways.
Next we get Jade Cargill interview with the baddies and also Stokely Hathaway, FK Malcolm Bivens.
Yeah.
Cargill says nobody can mind their damn business, and Hathaway says they confronted their issue with Athena last week. Athena and Statlander got involved in their business. She'll face Velvet on Rampage, blah, 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 other stuff. I thought it was all right.
Cut the crap.
Yes, that was the ending line.
Always.
Cargill was standard. I like Stokely Hathaway, though. I think
he's awesome.
I think he's been a good signing so far.
And he hasn't even really opened it up and done a very long promo yet.
No, but I liked him. I think he works better than Sterling. I'm liking that so far.
They're doing the same thing pretty much every week, but I'm still not tired of it. They amuse me in these quick little vignettes, even though they're all pretty similar. And Jade just oozes attitude and charisma, right? If she can ever get her in-ring work like halfway to her sort of attitude, they're gonna have something big. So I'm still enjoying Jade and the Baddies, and the Bivens. Sorry, what's his name? Hathaway edition is really nice. I like
it
him
definitely
too.
makes it better.
Yep.
There's some advertisements for Rampage yesterday, and then Dynamite next week, which is Road Rager. So I think that'll have the ladder match.
Nice.
Wardlow's handicap nonsense.
Yep.
And hair versus hair with Jericho and Ortiz.
Oh right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Don't know. Oh right. Sorry. Also Ethan Page Miro. I remember. So that's an Atlantic qualifier. So our main event, John Moxley, Kyle O'Reilly. So the winner will advance their Forbidden Door to face, I assume, Hiroki Goto.
It could be. How dare you disrespect Goto?
The only thing I remember about him is like that swing suplex move he did to beat I guess Makabe. No, Nakamura.
Oh, Makabe. I forgot about him. Makabe. Yeah.
Yeah. You not like him?
I did not love him.
No.
He was just like a brawling dude.
Sorry, I think he beat Nakamura. No, he beat Makabe. No, I was right the first time. I think it was G1 2008.
If you say so.
I don't know why I know that.
Because you were 1 year old at that point, just absorbing the G1.
Right. No, I remember they did like that recount series. They did it for Bullet Club up until Jay White took over, and then they did Chaos, which was Nakamura and Okada's faction.
Right.
They did that up until when Jay White joined Bullet Club. So it's kind of not up to date, but
nice.
Still, it's good for historical accuracy for before times. There's some holds and counters early on. Strikes in the corner by Kyle O'Reilly for Mox. Hit some corner clotheslines. Kyle O'Reilly drop kicked him at the knee when he was charging in for another one, and then followed the dragon screw in the ropes. And then he was kind of trapped in the ropes, so Kyler kind of hit a knee drop to the chest. That was kind of cool, actually. Kyler goes to target the arm, gets caught in a sleeper instead, has to get a rope break with his teeth biting the ropes, and Mox kicks the rope while he was biting it and falls with a big lariat for 2. I don't know if I'm right, but I feel like that spot was reminiscent of Balor O'Reilly.
You could be right. Probably.
I feel like they did that. I feel like the two things that match was the gut kick.
Oh, yeah.
And then
they sold like crazy.
Yeah. And then the I feel like there was this. I don't remember if O'Reilly did it to Balor. Oh, no, wait, O'Reilly did it to Balor because remember he had like the jaw issue before their second match or something.
That's right.
Remember, but I am right.
Yes.
Don't doubt my memory.
Got there.
I'm godly. And there's a knee to the jaw, or a knee to the jaw, drops Moxley to a knee, and then a PK by Kyle O'Reilly. And then Mox comes back shortly with a cutter. O'Reilly counters a pile driver into a triangle hold, transitions down to a heel hook until Mox breaks free with like a closed fist punch. A fist punch.
As opposed to an open fist punch? Isn't closed fist redundant?
Yeah.
If it's open, does it cease to be a fist? Right?
I don't know why they say that then.
Right?
That is kind of that.
It'd be a slap.
That's true.
Yeah.
Or like one of those.
Never do that
you
again.
You can't see it, but it's like like your just hands like weak.
You're better off not seeing it, folks. You're better off.
There's a pile driver by Mox for a near fall. So Mox weakens Kyler with the bulldog choke and then just knees him in the head very many times.
Many times.
And hits a paradigm shift for the win.
Yeah, I thought it was a very good main event. I can't help feeling like there's an even better match in there between these two guys somewhere. But nonetheless, I did really enjoy it. I'm glad Kyle, like I said, is getting a bit of a singles push here. Good Canadian boy that he is. He's just an amazing technician. His offense always looks great. And I think I was saving this question, but I think you kind of answered it, right? This feels to me like we're getting Mox, right? This is set up for Mox as interim champion.
Yeah, I don't see how it, like, no, if it was another AEW guy, it's different. But
and again, they don't need to, I'm not saying that's a bad idea and they need to swerve me or something. I'm just saying
it's okay. It's just like, I would like at least a bit of intrigue.
Yeah, but it feels like it's going to be Mox. But yeah, I thought this was a very good main event. What about you?
Yeah, so I thought it was a great main event. I thought both these guys worked really well together, and I enjoyed that Kyle got spotlight to for the show to bookend. Like he started off good and ended good, and also I guess you did mention Double or Nothing, that works too. Might never be a top guy, but he's really good. So moments like this are nice to see. Like the feud with Balor and the feud with Cole in NXT before he went back to Von Wagner.
Remember them as a tag team? Oh boy, that was some highlights. That was when you were still watching
My
2.0.
favorite thing was
That might have been what made you stop watching 2.0.
my favorite thing was when Wagner tried to turn on him and just got his ass kicked by O'Reilly, and then he did the Undisputed Era hand gesture, and he just looked like a complete chump.
They were the ones in the woods, right? Training.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are funny bad segments. I guess we're in overall thoughts
No,
territory.
I'm still
Oh,
going.
sorry. Go ahead.
I like that Mox kind of to kill him at the end, and then he keeps him looking strong.
Yes.
I like the knee drop at the end, or sorry, the knee drop that he did in the ropes. Or when he got the rope break with his teeth, Mox kicked the ropes. I could be mistaken. I'm not mistaken. That was indeed a callback to the Balor feud, I believe. At least their first
I do
match.
remember that now that you say it. Yes.
Which I remember that being really good.
Of course.
That was like post-pandemic or middle pandemic.
Yes. Mid-pandemic, if you will.
Overall, like this a lot. Had an obvious result, not an issue.
Yeah. Overall, I thought this was a good show. Like in ring, I liked everything except the women's match. Right. So that was the low point. So not a big deal. And segment-wise, I don't really have any complaints about anything. I liked Mox's work. Eddie Kingston, anytime you get him on the mic, I'm obviously totally fine with that. The baddies and Jade, I'm still fine with. The Marina Shafir thing, like everything Marina Shafir was the low point, I think I can safely say, unfortunately for her. So I'm torn between, I feel like, all right, I'm going to give it a B+. It's super close to giving it an A- again this week, but I don't know. There's just something not quite putting it in the A level for me. I still think it was a really good show. But again, there's nothing I'm like, you have to go see this, right? I'm pretty close to saying that with Pac, Buddy Matthews, but not quite there. So I'm going to give it a very, very good B+. Really good show again this week.
Mm-hmm.
You?
So I think it was a pretty strong show I agree. Like it was a very strong show in ring, aside from one major misstep. Because I really enjoyed the Battle Royal. I think that was awesome.
Me too.
Matthews' Pac was fantastic. I think even Paige Finley was pretty solid.
It was.
Only misstep again was the women's match. That was pretty bad, but I think everything else was good enough to carry it. And I thought the main event was fantastic as well.
Yep.
Like I really enjoyed that.
Me too.
I think segments were solid. Like I enjoyed Hangman's post match promo. The United Empire thing with Trent Beretta, that was all right. I think it had a solid kind of turnout, so I'm okay with that.
Me too.
I really enjoyed Kingston's a little bit. I forgot to mention Mox's opening or the post battle royal promo. I really enjoyed that. I think that was probably my favorite promo. And Wardlow was okay. Young Bucks, that was alright. We're teasing the dissension now. Baddies were okay too. I think it was generally a pretty good show. I'd even go A-. I
think it's fair.
I'm comfortable with that. I think the only major misstep is that women's match, but I think generally like I would recommend checking out the main event and even Matthews, or I'm gonna call him Murphy Pac.
Yep.
It was a pretty good show. Like this was a return to form for them.
Yes, really 2 weeks in a row now. I've really, really enjoyed Dynamite. So hoping that
really
trend
good.
continues.
Yep.
All right, so let's move into talking about a little wrestling trivia in a segment we like to call Off the Top of His Head. All right, I'm giving the questionable book of trivia a week off, and I found a giant new quiz. Every now and then I'll like Google search wrestling quizzes, right, and wrestling trivia, and sometimes new stuff comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. This might be questionable as well, but it's this website is Kidaddle, and it's 101 questions.
That's already sounding risky.
Suspect, right? So we're gonna go with the first, 15 to 20. We'll see how it goes. I previewed a bunch of them, and some of them looked really good, and some maybe not. So we'll see. There are no options for you. It's just, do you know the answer or not? Okay.
We will see.
Who is the only WWE superstar to win the Intercontinental Championship 8 times?
That's already inaccurate.
Why?
Well, because Jericho won it 9 times and Miz won it 8 times.
So we're off to a good start.
I don't know, Jericho or Miz.
But even when it's wrong, it still shows your knowledge, which is the goal of this, right? So it's Jericho.
Okay. I don't think that's right.
Which 2 WWE superstars, past and present, one and the other, attended WrestleMania 6 in the Toronto Skydome?
Edge and Christian?
Correct. They attended as fans, I think is the point. Some of the wording of these is questionable.
That just kind of like figured itself out because Toronto.
Right. WrestleMania 2000, which McMahon was on the side of Big Show in a fatal 4-way match? That's a good one. Which McMahon? You have 3, well, I guess 4. You could
Linda.
go Linda. It was not Linda.
No, wait. Shane.
Correct.
Linda was McFoley.
Right. So I know there's multiple answers to this, but so you can give me all of them. What is the Great Khali's finisher?
The chop thing,
Nope.
Punjabi plunge,
And
chokeslam.
no, they're saying the vice grip. Didn't he grab
Oh,
grab
right.
people? Yes, he squeezed their heads like a melon.
Classic.
Who brandishes, nice word, the record for the longest time spent in the ring during a Royal Rumble?
That's a bad word.
At least according to these people.
Daniel Bryan or Rey
No.
Mysterio?
Rey Mysterio.
Okay, because I remember seeing a thing that was Daniel Bryan, but that's kind of a cheat because he was in the 50-man one.
Right. That doesn't make sense.
Shocker.
Should we go with it? Doesn't make sense, but here we go. As written, which is presently the most watched wrestling tournament ever in North American history?
G1 Climax? I don't.
Well, because the
I didn't
answer.
understand.
Well, it's going to be tough for you because the answer isn't a tournament.
Oh. What? How's that fair?
The answer is Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant 1988 rematch.
What?
I like this trivia already.
What?
This is amazing.
This is worse than the. How have you managed to find something worse than the trivia book?
How much does Hornswoggle weigh?
I don't know. Why would I know that?
It's giving you a 10-pound range. Take a guess.
I don't want to. No, I don't know. I have no
Less
idea.
than me.
I don't know.
130 to 140. Okay, these are getting a bit better. Who won the first ever Money in the Bank main event? Or sorry, Money in the Bank event.
At Edge.
Correct.
It was a match on
What
event.
does MVP say before he hits his finisher?
Ballin'?
Ball in. Do it right. It's not. It's with an exclamation mark. Okay, you're wrong.
Like Trent.
Right. What? Oh, there you go. Tough one. What are Chris Jericho's 2 finishers?
Codebreaker. Walls of Jericho?
Correct.
It depends on when you're talking about.
Who has? I like the way this is phrased too. Who has won the maximum Royal Rumble and how many?
Austin?
And how many
With 3.
times? Yeah. It's like it almost sounds like there was one that was called "This is the maximum," like the greatest Royal Rumble, right? Like maximum Royal Rumble.
That's what I thought it was.
Right. Okay. Who did? As written, who did Andre the Giant knock in a body slam challenge?
Big John Studd.
Did he knock him?
He knocked him.
Here you go. Which football team, meaning soccer, does John Cena support? How do you not know this? I'm just kidding.
I have no idea.
The Tottenham Hotspur. You think you know wrestling, but you don't. You say you know things,
I don't even know.
but then
that.
you don't know John Cena's favorite soccer team. At No Mercy 2007, Batista beat who for the World Heavyweight Championship? And in what type of match? That we may have mentioned yesterday privately. I said I missed it. What was it?
A Punjabi prison.
Correct. Who did he beat?
Was it Taker?
No.
Khali?
Yes.
Okay, because sometimes he gets replaced. I don't know if it was one of those
That's
times.
true. That's true.
It was Taker versus Big Show once.
Who won King of the Ring in 2000?
Kurt Angle.
Correct.
Kirk Angel. Oh, I saw this really funny clip of him. It was like, I think he's talking to Rey Mysterio. He was like, "You're a boy in a man's world. And I'm a man who loves to play with boys." and then like he keeps trying to like fix it, and then keeps getting worse. It was pretty funny.
That's
actually.
Funny. As written, who succeeded in Raw's 15th anniversary Legends Battle Royal? I think they mean who won.
That was a great question because I have no idea.
Really?
One
of Hulk Hogan's rivals.
I should know. Was it
I'll say that.
Piper?
Always a heel. Never
Iron
knew him
Sheik?
as a face. Yes, Iron Sheik.
He also won the gimmick battle royal at WrestleMania 7, so he's just king of the Legend Battle Royals.
Prolific. Who is the longest reigning Divas champion?
Nikki Bella.
Correct.
Oh, we've done that before. I know.
This is the hardest one. You're going to need some time.
Okay.
Name Nikki Bella's twin.
That's not even a question. That's just like they're demanding it from me.
Name her. Say her name. What feud was that where it was say my name? And it was a really good feud. I remember loving it.
Aleister Black and Velveteen Dream.
That's right.
That's
that
what
was sorry, shouldn't mention Velveteen Dream on here, but anyways, whose catchphrase was "This is my house"? She came up in the news.
It was Paige.
It was Paige.
Or it depends if you want to go like Swerve's house because that's similar.
True. Who is the first SmackDown Women's Champion?
Becky Lynch.
Correct.
Becky Lynch. I saw a thing like about like canceled pushes. One of them was Eva Marie. And so remember when she was doing the thing like where she didn't wrestle?
Yes.
Apparently like she might have gone for the title. She was considered for the title.
Name the diva whose last name is the same as her first. It's a tough one.
Kelly.
Correct.
So nice you gotta say it twice.
Name this redheaded diva well known for counterfeiting injuries to get out of matches.
Wow. The timing on this.
Right?
Eva Marie.
Correct.
All right, everything. Just talking about that.
I don't know if this
impeccable timing.
I don't think this one makes sense, so I like it. Name the first overall draft pick in the WWE.
The Rock?
Why? Yes. But what? How did you get to that answer from that? Feels like a not great wording of
first overall draft pick in WWE, so I thought probably first draft, which was
so Rock. He was the first pick in the first draft.
I was going to say Seth Rollins, but that was 2016. So.
Who was the first superstar to capture Money in the Bank contract?
I love how that's formed, because that sounds like it's like that's not English as the first language, and also they already asked me that question in a different form.
But they're saying they're saying the answer is different.
What? Who is it?
Well, you
should be know. Edge.
Nope. That is not their answer.
What is it?
Superstar to capture the Money in the Bank contract.
What?
He's in AEW now.
Edge.
No. Punk.
What?
You don't know anything.
That's not accurate.
We'll
if
do
they said the first guy to do it twice, then sure.
We'll do a couple more. What year did WrestleMania officially debut?
85.
Correct. Well, I mean, I should say correct. This quiz agrees with you. Whether it's correct or not, we're not sure. What started the WWE Alliance conflict in 2001?
Shane bought WCW, I guess.
Yes. And Shane and Stephanie McMahon bought WCW, and they said ECW here.
I know.
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stephanie had ECW.
How many
makes sense?
How many WrestleManias were held in the city of Houston?
3.
No. Well, I mean, not according to them.
I don't know.
2.
That makes sense.
We'll do.
If you think about it, shouldn't Shane have ECW because he jumps off stuff, and then Stephanie should have had WCW? If you really want to get technical about it,
I guess so. I think that's how it went. Shane was WCW, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 more, and I know the last one doesn't make much sense. So let's see what 29 says. In one of Monday Night Raw's incredible times, as written,
which was when?
Don't worry about it, okay? What did former Raw GM Eric Bischoff swear Chris Jericho and John Cena in their match for the WWE? This does not make sense. So let's go back to in one of Monday Night Raw's incredible times. What did former Raw GM Eric Bischoff swear Chris Jericho and John Cena in their match for the WWE Championship later that evening?
You're gonna get it.
So what was the added stipulation, I guess? So the winner got the championship.
Loser leaves?
And the loser
gets fired?
Yes, loser gets fired.
I'm pretty sure that Jericho lost.
What an amazing phrasing for that one.
My favorite one was, what was it? There was the one really bad one. It was the tournament one. And then it wasn't a tournament. Talk about a trick
Here's
question.
A good one to end on. How long did Tommy Dreamer's domination last?
What?
Did he have a title in WWE or anything?
WWE ECW title.
For how long?
I don't know.
Because they're probably referring to that.
229 days.
Less than 1 hour. His domination.
Was this in like a championship scramble?
I don't know.
These
are good questions, right? Amazing. So not so strong. All right, so here you go. At Judgment Day 2008, Triple H and Randy battled in what stipulation match?
3 Stages of Hell?
No. Not according to this.
Last Man Standing?
No.
On a Cell?
No.
Street Fight?
No. Just says Steel Cage.
Love Her, Loser?
Here's one so you can end on knowing the answer. Who, and they have it right because I know this one. Who did John Cena debut against?
Kirk Angel.
Correct. I think we're going to end that there because that was not great. I mean, there's 101, so we can go back to it next week,
God.
But they were not good. It's tough because I was making them for the first however many weeks, but it's just hard to make trivia every week. So I'm trying to rely on other people, and other people suck, apparently, at doing that.
That was pretty funny, though.
It is. There is some entertainment in there.
And I can prove my superiority over official websites on the actual internet.
Correct. So let's get back to talking about a show we watched, and that would be this week's episode of NXT UK. And as you just said, watched is a bit of a strong word because you were struggling with a massive headache through this one and fell asleep in the main event.
Yeah, we watched the whole thing on Thursday.
We did.
Right?
We watched it all in one shot. Well, yeah. I did. You did not. You did your best.
I did my best. I did do my best.
So the show starts, you probably remember this, with the first of many recaps, right?
There was like 3.
Of the triple threat tag
It was
team
like
match.
1 for each team, except 2 of them were for Mustache Mountain.
Correct.
And 1 of them was for the champ, so it wasn't even like that.
The Familia just like forgotten in this.
Maybe they died. Die family, yeah.
It was the triple threat tag team match for the championships last week that saw Smith and Carter finally win the titles, and also saw Mustache Mountain split after the match with Trent Seven walking away saying he's done because Bate wasn't willing to cheat.
He's a little pookie dookie.
Right. So commentary then are hyping up the Ivy Nile Mako Satomura match that Jack will sleep through. That is also that is also the main event tonight. So we start out with Mark Andrews taking on Kenny Williams. So Mark Andrews comes out to the Subculture theme, and the ring announcer calls him a member of Subculture, but I was sure that faction was done, and I thought Danny Luna was released because she was the female member of that. So I
hate Flash Morgan Webster.
I haven't seen anything about that faction, so I was like, really? He's using the theme. They must not have a theme. And then it's like, oh, and they're also saying he is a member of that faction, so they must exist. But anyways,
exist.
Mark Andrews is in control early on, but Williams is taking shortcuts to gain the advantage because he is heel. Williams is targeting Andrews' previously injured right arm. We get a suplex countered into a stun dog millionaire at one point that finally stops Williams' offensive assault. We then get a side effect by Andrews for a near fall, pump kick to the shoulder, and a stiff rebound lariat by Kenny Williams for a near fall. And then Tiger Turan obviously shows up on the apron. This distracts Kenny Williams. Andrews rolls him up for the win. So just as I was starting to enjoy this match, right, we get the classic WWE can't help themselves with a distraction roll-up. So it's funny because here's my notes before the finish. This is making total sense to me. Williams is a heel that needs something to do as he tries to figure out why Tiger Turan is stalking him. Andrews is a babyface with nothing to do, so he can be a somewhat quality win, possibly with Williams cheating, that Williams really needs on his way to inevitably facing Tiger Turan. But then I have to continue. WWE couldn't resist the distraction roll-up. That's what we got here.
Perfect way of putting it.
A pretty good match with a weak, predictable finish that just, these finishes just leave a bad taste in my mouth, right? Like, it's a pretty good match. I'm kind of liking Kenny Williams' heel work, and then it's just like, oh, distraction roll-up. So, I don't know. What did you think of this?
From what I remember, as I was in
suffering,
much pain.
Yes.
I thought it was pretty good. Like, it was solid. It made sense. Like,
and we like Kenny Williams.
I do like Kenny Williams, yes.
And Andrews is doing nothing, so I don't know why he needs to win here, right?
No, that doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, it was.
And so I thought it was okay. I think it made sense. I just, like, I'm okay with Tiger Turan being involved, but like, could that not have come after?
Right. Could Kenny Williams overcome the distraction? I don't know. It's just overdone. So much done in this company. We then get an update package on Mustache Mountain after losing the titles last week. So they recap the aftermatch of the match again, and I already have here why they did this 15 minutes ago. The only new footage here was of Seven refusing to answer questions after the match as he was walking backstage.
Right. Yeah, I don't really have much comment on this. Another package, another
right
small development.
And then it's just to tell us that Seven will address the NXT UK fans next week.
Which they advertise again later.
So we get it earlier this week. Mark Coffey was asked about the whereabouts of his brother Joe. Mark starts to say that no one has heard from Joe. His phone rings. He talks to Joe briefly, right? We're led to believe it's Joe. Like, it's kind of cryptic, and then he's like, Mom and Dad are wondering how you are too, right? So
it's Joe.
In case we're idiots and we definitely don't know it's Joe.
They probably assume we are still, so.
And Mark tells him to take as much time as he needs. I mean, this was a well enough done segment, I guess, but I don't have any connection to Joe leaving UK. Like, do you remember? Because to me, it feels sudden and kind of random to me. Was he struggling with something?
I feel like it's because like he's just never won a title. And it's like they already won titles. I don't know.
It feels like the middle of this story was kind of missing to me.
It's
just like he's gone.
I guess it's just been the whole no titles thing.
I guess, but they hadn't been teasing like maybe I just haven't been paying attention. So it feels kind of weird to me. But I don't really care that he's gone that much, even though I like Joe Coffey. So I don't think this is super successful, but anyways.
Right.
We then get Ollie Blake, who I don't remember seeing before, and Tate Mayfair's, who I do, once,
I think he got a win for some reason. I don't remember why.
Too.
It might have even been Kenny Williams, I feel like.
So they're taking on Symbiosis, which is Primate and T-Bone.
Tyson T-Bone.
Mayfairs gets in a bit on Primate, tags in Blake only to have Primate then take control really quickly. We get a backbreaker and an awkward vertical suplex by T-Bone. Remember?
It looked really weird.
He like held on too long or something, and it looked kind of sloppy and a bit dangerous. Commentary called it innovative, and I just think it was like a poorly executed suplex, right? Blake is then isolated in the Symbiosis corner for a bit. Mayfairs gets back in with a flurry to T-Bone, including a nice high knee, before T-Bone wipes him out with a big clothesline that buckles Mayfair's knees. I thought Mayfair did a good job of selling that. We get a power slam by T-Bone, top rope diving headbutt by Primate, and Symbiosis win this match. No surprise, as it was jobbers they were facing. And then for some reason, did you understand this? I did not understand this either.
I did not.
T-Bone and Primate just immediately turn on Eddie Dennis and attack him. And
it's NXT UK's answer to Judgment Day.
I guess, but without even any conversation. Have there been hints of cracks in this team?
I haven't.
Me either. So it's again like we missed the middle of this story.
Right. It's like Judgment Day. Like there wasn't even their crappy version of teasing dissension. There's like just
it's over. So anyways, I thought it was a decent enhancement match. Nothing more. Symbiosis is now in that role of getting too much time on a 1 hour show, right? Like they're on every week doing something, and I don't really think we need them that often.
Right.
The attack seemed to come out of nowhere, as we said, and I don't know where it came from. But anyways, that's all that was. Any other thoughts on that?
No, not really. I don't even remember that much.
This is where you were fading, maybe?
Yes.
So then it's a quick little word from Ilya Dragunov. He's there to watch Mako's match because he admires her. He says the Tsar and the Final Boss fight to represent NXT UK as the strongest brand in the world. Feels like we haven't seen Dragunov in a while to me. This was good. It was less intense than his usual promo, but solid babyface. Like, I'm here to support the other babyface champion. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, it was pretty basic, but I thought it was all right.
Another recap of last week's main event for the third time in an hour. This time focusing on Smith and Carter and their celebration afterwards. We get happy other wrestlers in the back. Lots of supportive tweets after they won. I think it's Smith's kid is proud, obviously. Lots of really good baby face.
Smith's kid's really small, so I don't even know if that's...
They know pride or understand.
Yeah.
Lots of good babyface stuff here, I thought. Like we've said, right, we need some depth added to these characters, and at least we got, I thought, a little bit for Smith because it showed him at home with his daughter.
Which was kind of like motivation for him, right? So at least there is kind of that.
It was kind of harkening back to, was it Dragunov they did that with? In the Dragunov-Devlin build, I think.
I feel like they did.
So, yeah, it sort of creates a little bit of something else around Smith. They need to do the same for Carter, I think, at some point. We then get our obligatory women's mid-card match, right? It's Amal taking on
4 matches.
Eliza Alexander. Yeah, they squeezed 4 matches in this week. So some kicks by Alexander before a neckbreaker by Amal. Double underhook suplex by Amal. We get obviously a Zaya Brookside distraction at ringside, and Eliza takes control with a boot to Amal as she's hanging in the ropes. More kicks and then a camel clutch by Alexander. We get a strike exchange. Alexander runs into a boot. Corner clothesline and a bulldog by Amal for 2. Running boot to Alexander seated in the corner, and 1 to Brookside as she gets up on the apron to try and get involved. We get a kick to the knee, and then a running knee to the head by Eliza Alexander, and she picks up somewhat a surprising win here.
Yeah, and she doesn't really, she just kind of used a fairly basic knee. It wasn't like...
No, it's
really
like a knee to the side of the head, right? Yeah. I actually thought this match over-delivered, and this was the best Alexander has looked. Not that she's had a ton of matches. I thought it was actually a pretty decent competitive match with the heel winning off another distraction, which is annoying, but at least it wasn't a roll-up this time. She actually hit her finisher. So I actually thought this match was pretty good. Amal continues to be my favorite of these mid-tier women on this show.
I wouldn't even call her my favorite. I just call her the one I dislike the least.
There you go, which I guess is your favorite by default.
I guess.
Wolfgang then takes Damon Kemp out on the tour of the town. Remember this little vignette? They go drinking.
Yeah.
They drink so basically they go out drinking, and Kemp can't hang drinking with Wolfgang, so Kemp gets really drunk and Wolfgang doesn't. Kemp ends up throwing up in the bushes. He staggers down the road as Wolfgang supports him to sort of end the segment.
Yeah, this is lame. I didn't care. It was weird. It was stupid.
Right. So I think it was like, hey, people in the UK drink a lot, and the American guy can't keep up. Isn't that funny?
No.
Not really. Right? I don't know. Wolfgang character-wise and Kemp character-wise are not super strong for me, so didn't really get this, if I'm being honest. Then we get Lash, Legend. She's rambling backstage, and I put Myla Grace question mark because I wasn't sure. I have a big blind spot for all of these.
She's just one of the. I don't even blame you because she's not even like a notable. She's a jobber.
Does it not feel like 90% of them are like average-sized blonde women, right? Like a whole whack
More or
of
less,
them.
yeah.
So, anyways, Myla Grace interrupts and is tired of Lash thinking she's better than everyone else. When it comes to passion, no one can measure up to Myla Grace. And Lash basically is very dismissive of her and walks away. So, and it's funny because neither of us in the moment had any idea who Myla was until she said her name herself. And we're like, oh, right, thanks.
Yeah.
It's just they're interchangeable women at the bottom of this card on this show, right? So that's another one of them. So anyways, we then go to the main event, which you will not have an opinion on.
Nope.
Which is Ivy Nile taking on Mako Satomura for the NXT UK Women's Championship. So we get mat wrestling to start with Nile looking really quick and graceful. Like the way that Marina Shafir didn't look in her holds and counters, Nile looked really fluid and smooth, like completely different to me. Nile ends up powering up from a double knuckle lock and throws Mako across the ring. We get a gut wrench suplex later by Mako. More mat work. Ivy Nile escapes a head scissors by doing a headstand that looked pretty cool. Crossbody by Mako, but Nile rolls through, picks her up, and hits a fallaway slam. It's interesting, right? Because Nile is small, but like super jacked. Like short, I guess I should say, but she is super strong. Some stiff kicks from Mako. Nile then returns the favor. As they told us, she is a third-degree Taekwondo black belt, so I thought her kicks looked really good as well. We get an uppercut and a spinning heel kick from Mako. Series of kicks, a corner forearm, and a running kick by Ivy Nile. What I called a cravat DDT off the second rope by Ivy Nile for 2 count. I think that's a decent description. I'm not sure. Pele kick by Mako finally stops Ivy Nile for a second, but Nile fights back with a suplex and another kick. We get a nice kick to the head by Mako as Nile comes off the ropes. DDT and a rolling kick for a 2 count. Nile suddenly locks in the Dragon Sleeper, takes Mako down to the mat. Mako counters it into a pinfall and eventually gets the 3 count off of countering Nile's finisher, so Mako retains in what I thought was a really good match, especially considering like Nile's lack of experience here. The pace wasn't fast, but it was steady, and they stuck to Nile's strength for the most part. For sure, Mako gave Ivy Nile a ton in this match. I thought Nile looked really good on offense. It's her longest match that I can remember seeing, and definitely her biggest test. I would actually say Nile passed with flying colors here. She's a unique talent. She seems to be progressing really nicely, right? She's got this really cool look, very short but very muscular, super fit, with some martial arts and amateur wrestling background, it looks like. So I thought she looked really good here, and it's probably partly due to working with Mako, right? Mako was sure trying to make her look good, and I think was successful. But I thought this was a surprisingly good main event that you slept through. So your sleeping was no comment on the match. It was just you had a big headache.
I was just in pain.
Yeah. So my overall thoughts on this show, they crammed 4 matches on the show this week. So I really think that the segments were few and far between. The opener was fine, I thought, but weakened again by that distraction roll-up finish. The tag match was a squash, so nothing really. The Amal match was actually pretty good, and the main event was good too. Too many flashbacks to the tag match last week, and an odd like Wolfgang Kemp segment didn't add much to this show. The main event was the really good thing here, but again, I didn't mind the Amal Alexander match too, so I'm going to give this show, I'm actually upgrading it in the moment. I'm going to give it a B-. I had it at a C+, but I liked the main event quite a bit, and one other match was decent, and that's a 1-hour show, right? So that's pretty worthwhile. So I thought it wasn't bad, but wasn't great. And funny, my last comment was, funny how a 1-hour show like this finds the time for 2 women's matches. Looking at you, AEW, right?
I feel like I mentioned that too. Like, yeah, it's interesting because like
they put 2 on one show in an hour, right? So I don't know. Did you want to partially grade what you saw? You didn't see the best part of the show, probably, so it'd be tough.
I thought the opener was pretty solid. What was the match after the opener? Oh, the tag match was fine, and the first women's match was fine. None of the segments were that great. I don't know. I'd give it like probably a B-. It wasn't anything great.
Fair enough. So that's bringing us to the end of that. We'll move into our next section. I got a few things to talk about in what we call any other wrestling business. So first, I thought we would quickly address what we did end up watching from Hell in a Cell. So I saw a bit more than you, I think. So really quickly, the opening women's triple threat match was awesome. Possibly my match of the night if I really got to thinking about it. Just a really well planned and well executed triple threat match. So you had the combination of the odd time where people are outside the ring and two people are fighting, but also like incorporating all three of them a bunch at times. I thought Asuka in particular looked amazing with her kicks and strikes and stuff. I thought
Yeah,
all
my friend sent me this clip of this fast bitch she got like with a bunch of the back fists or whatever.
yeah, her back fists looked like they were just connecting like for real. Um, so I thought all three of these women killed it in this match. It ended with Belair stealing the pin after Becky Lynch hit Asuka with the manhandle slam. So this match is probably going on my list of matches I really enjoyed. I thought it was pretty great, to be honest, and that's with me as someone who's pretty hard on main roster and doesn't watch it and complains a lot about it. This was an excellent match. This was a fantastic opener to this show. Maybe my favorite match on the show. You didn't see that, but then I watched Omos MVP taking on Lashley. This was about what you would expect. I thought it was decent at best and doesn't really
We also
belong.
watched Kevin Owens versus Ezekiel.
And he did watch that and doesn't belong on a pay-per-view. Like Omos just isn't a talented wrestler. Like I don't the spectacle of him being 7'3" or whatever they're billing him as. I don't really care. Right? MVP was entertaining because he is. I thought this match was just okay. And then, as you said, we did watch Owens and Ezekiel. I thought it was fine. I just don't. I personally don't find.
I was watching that to see what Ezekiel is all about, and I did not gather anything.
I don't
he
think
just doesn't have anything to him.
And I don't think his style is super interesting in the ring. Like he's serviceable. He's fine, like main roster talent kind of thing. But
I don't get it because like his style doesn't really seem that current. Like he just doesn't seem like he doesn't really fit in.
He seems like a guy that got a job in the '80s because he had a really good physique. Right?
Yes, exactly.
It's like Ultimate Warrior. Come in and... It
seems like they brought him in, but like he's a guy from a bygone era, even though like it's not even like he did others. He was Elias. Like he could do better.
Which was a cooler gimmick. So, and I love KO. I think he's brilliant, and he still couldn't save this for me. Like I don't think this was a bad match, but it was nothing that I was really...
I can't remember who said it, but like saw someone say like he should be involved in major stuff, and yeah, like Owens should be,
of course,
used better than this.
Yep. I don't think you watched it. I did. Ali versus Theory.
I saw a bit of it, but I didn't watch the whole thing.
I thought it was a really good match, right? You've got two really young, talented performers. I thought they put on a good match in a tough spot. Like,
and answer me this: did the hometown boy win?
Of course not. We all knew that he wouldn't. He couldn't have been more hometown. Like coming out wearing like all of his gear was about Chicago and everything else.
I thought it looked cool, but
yeah, it was a really good match. I thought just a tough spot as people were waiting for that main event, right? But a good match nonetheless. And then the main event, we sort of mentioned it before. It was Rhodes and Rollins. I thought this was a fantastic.
You didn't
main
watch
event.
Madcap Moss and Corbin, but
you did.
I
So
accidentally watched that in the morning.
That's right.
It was a fine like plunder match, but it wasn't like anything. It wasn't great. It was just more like it was already on in the morning, so it's just like, okay.
You watched it. So the main event, tons of drama added because of Rhodes. Just disgusting injury. Like the crowd basically gasping as you see the bruise that's...
Yeah, you can see like they're chanting for Cody, and then you just like, it's like there's a bit of a gasp, but it's mostly just like silence after.
And then like it's swollen and looks awful too. So they told one hell of a story. Kind of like an instant classic match, even though they didn't use the cage a ton. There was still tables involved and stuff, right? So I thought this was awesome. I maybe preferred the opener in terms of in-ring work specifically, but there's no doubt that this storyline, and like, look at that, WWE. You didn't book a feud even Steven, and people have gobbled it up, right? Like they've loved it. And the same person won 3 times. Nobody cares. Everyone's loved the feud. Now these guys are like forever rivals sort of thing. You've really built something with these two guys. Now it sucks one of them's out for 9 months.
Now I am interested to see how they screw that up.
Right.
Without the injury, I think.
Because Cody has come across, and I'm not a Cody fan, as people know, but he looks like a mega star here, right? And honestly, super tough
and
to gut this
testament to Rollins, because like,
yes,
they brought him back. They brought Cody back in a good way, and I think that's a huge credit to Rollins.
Like Rhodes basically worked with half of his upper body, right? Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I thought this was a fantastic main event. Like this show bookended with 2 matches I would tell people to go out of their way to see, to be honest, and that's rare. So I think I've heard other places talk about it. The way to consume WWE is just watch the pay-per-views. And maybe even for me, it might be watch the pay-per-views a couple days later and cherry pick them, right? Because there was stuff that we didn't need to watch on here. So what did I not watch? The 6-man tag or 6-person tag, right? With the Judgment Day against Styles and Liv and somebody?
Balor.
Oh, Finn Balor, right. Leading to him joining the faction.
I told you, it doesn't make sense.
So yeah, I missed that one. And what else would I miss then? Anything else? I missed the one you caught there, Corbin and whatever.
Right, and then
But honestly, 3
think that's
matches I quite enjoyed. If you're talking about Theory and Ali was good, main event was great, opener was fantastic. So all in all, I'm not going to give it a letter grade because I didn't watch the whole thing and I was somewhat distracted watching some of the matches. The Omos match didn't have my full attention, but honestly, 3 good matches, and it wasn't a long pay-per-view. It was 3 hours. So compared to AEW's 5-hour journey last week or whatever that was, this was quite doable. So I really liked 2 of those matches. Then what else did I watch? The June 4th episode, so a week, it was on Saturday, I guess, of New Japan Strong. So it was Yuya Uemura and Keita. They pinned Lucas Riley and Kevin Blackwood in about an 8.5-minute match. So I think Uemura sometimes looks good to me, and sometimes he just looks kind of ordinary. I thought this was one of the more like just okay matches. I don't think, in his defense, he was working with the most experienced guys here. I thought Riley, despite his quickness, looked like he was kind of thinking and planning what he was doing. It didn't look supernatural to me. He's definitely got talent, but they seem like guys that are just sort of in training still. After the match, Lucas Riley is positive that despite the loss, or that they'll do better next time, and Blackwood wants no part of it and walks out. So it's like this jobber tag team is splitting, I guess. I don't know. Solid opening tag match. Didn't have much star power in it. Felt like a good developmental match. And there's nothing really wrong with that, right? So that's kind of what New Japan Strong is. They're developing people as well as bringing in people from other places. For example, the next match, which is a tag team match with El Phantasmo and Chris Bay representing Bullet Club, they defeated Alex Zane, unlikely tag team of Alex Zane and Christopher Daniels in a 10-minute match. This is my favorite duo from Bullet Club, Phantasmo and Bay. They're both just really smooth and fluid. And actually, Daniels, for being pretty ancient here, he held his own.
Pretty ancient.
Zayn did some of his usual cool stuff. I thought this was a good match. I thought could have been better considering who was in it. I'm pretty sure the finish was botched. I think El Phantasmo was supposed to catch Zayn coming off the ropes with a super kick, but that did not happen. So they sort of audibled into, I don't know what it is. It's like a modified Styles Clash that Phantasmo hit, and then a super kick for the win here. But a pretty entertaining tag team match. And then the main event was Tomohiro Ishii, one of my favorites from New Japan. He pinned Big Damo in a 13-minute match. So obviously a slower paced physical match. And honestly, Damo was in control for the majority of this match. They took turns kind of being defiant and quickly firing up after taking offense from the other. I thought Damo looked really good. But my one complaint was it was a lot of Damo versus his tights. He kept pulling up his tights over his stomach.
I remember he did that in WWE too.
It was really annoying. Anyways, Ishii, the story of this was Ishii trying to hit his brainbuster multiple times, finally does, and picks up the win. I thought it was a good slugfest of a match. My favorite match on the show for sure. Nice to see Damo. He came across as like a legit big man here, and Ishii gave him lots of chances to look good. Ishii won as expected, but he gave Damo a lot. I thought it was a pretty good main event. Easy show to watch. I mean, if you have to have storylines in your wrestling, then this, I don't think, is the product for you. It's basically 3 matches, maybe a tiny little post-match thing, and then they're out of there. But it's only an hour, and they have some really good talent, so I'll probably check it out some more. The next thing I wanted to talk about was MLW Fusion, which I've now caught 2 weeks in a row, and I've kind of been enjoying that. So the opening there was Gino Medina. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
No.
He defeated Aramis in a Mexican strap match. Now, do you know what a Mexican strap match is?
Is it a strap match?
No, it's better.
Why?
So it's a lumberjack match, but all of the lumberjacks have leather straps. So I liked it because
That's interesting.
Because part of the strategy then of this match, right, is to throw your opponent out of the ring because he's going to get beaten with straps. So there was a lot of that. It sort of added. So I kind of enjoyed the match. So Medina picked up the win. Aramis, I've seen a bit of him. I don't know how much I've seen of Medina, but I kind of thought this was a pretty good match. We also learned that it's going to be Taya Valkyrie taking on Holodead to become the first MLW. They're calling it the featherweight champion. I think that's their women's champion, but maybe it's just a smaller weight class, right?
Maybe I feel like that's in UFC too. That's like a
Yes.
one of their terms.
And that match will be next week. So I like Valkyrie. I like Holodead. I don't know if you've seen Holodead before. She's pretty cool.
She's
so
like another Thunder Rosa.
that might be decent. A little bit, but more like
like the look.
It's more like a Halloween sort of
Yeah.
kind of gimmick. She's cool. We then got Octagon Jr. defeated Matt Cross to retain the Caribbean Championship. I thought this match was okay. They sort of talked up Octagon Jr. like he's some absolute revelation. I didn't really see it here. He does cool stuff like lucha stuff and whatnot, but it's not done as crisply as some other people do the same thing. So I don't know. I thought he looked okay, but I was hoping for better. And honestly, I never thought Cross would win. He seems that he's just not in a role to be a champion. We then get Casey Navarro. He approaches Myron Reed in the backstage area. I don't know if you've seen Navarro anywhere. He was
Casey
on
Navarro.
Yeah.
He was an Impact for a bit.
Right, small guy.
I think it was
like
the X Cup or whatever.
150-pound dude.
Or whatever.
So Navarro starts talking like a mile a minute. He's a heel here. Myron Reed finally cuts him off and tells him, if you want a title shot, just ask for one. So I kind of thought Navarro was really good at like the overly energetic heel here. And I don't know much about Myron Reed. I know I've seen him wrestle maybe once or twice. But he just came across as like the no-nonsense, take on all challengers babyface champion, which I thought worked here. We then get, surprise, surprise, a Cross and Scarlett vignette. They are coming to MLW. And then when they cut back to the arena, the crowd is chanting,
so
Cross is going to kill you.
You came in at the right time.
I guess so, right? He may fit in here. I don't know. We'll see. Then we get footage, I told you about this because I liked it, of Jacob Fatu and a Juicy Finau. I can't remember how they pronounced it. I apologize to him. He's probably listening to this, right? He's one of the new listeners too. Along with WWE executives.
Yeah.
So he's this big Tongan guy, I think. And so Jacob Fatu was explaining their alliance, that basically they ruled the streets together. That's how they know each other. And Finau said that he's there for all the free food that MLW could give him because he's not going anywhere. He's a very large man. I actually really like the raw, realistic tone of this promo. I think Jacob Fatu is really cool, and I've never seen the other guy before, but he's huge, and he sounded pretty believable to me as well. Oh, one detail I forgot. Guess who's coming to MLW?
Who?
AC Romero.
Sweet.
Which I think they're calling him Ace Romero. Then we get the MLW National Openweight Champion Alex Kane and Mr. Thomas arrive. They get out of their Audi. They tell viewers to mind their own business when it comes to who is funding. So their group's called Beaumaye Fight Club, and I guess there's some mystery as to who's there financing it. They also then tease they're going to have more members joining the group. Again, I really like the realistic tone of this. I don't know much about these guys yet, but
I know is he won like a ladder match thing. Because when, remember Hammerstone won the title, so he had the double title, so he vacated that title, and he won the title from that match. I follow them on social media, so I get bits, but I don't really.
These guys seem cool to me. I would check them out some more. I'll probably check out Fusion. I've liked the last couple weeks. So the main event really quickly was Richard Holiday, Mads Kruger. Have you seen Mads Kruger?
I've seen him.
He's like a Kane kind of. He's like a 6'9" mercenary with
Holiday.
the mask.
I know he's with Alicia Atu.
Atu, that's right. She gets involved in this match.
She's Canadian.
And King Muertes, is she?
She's an interviewer, and she also does. Nice. She also did interviews on like Chris Van Vliet.
Yes.
She's kind of like him, somewhat.
Cool.
And I know she was at the first AEW. I think she works for them too.
Because Holiday and Hammerstone were like partners and friends and stuff. That's the storyline.
He turned on them.
Right.
They turned on him.
So it's Holiday, Kruger, King Muertes. They ended up defeating Hammerstone.
That Mel Muertes, right? Just
yes,
different game.
Hammerstone and Ross and Marshall Von Erich.
What were his pants?
He was not wearing baseball pants. Okay. I don't remember what they were, but
Good.
I would have remembered that. So as I said, Hammerstone and Holiday, former friends and partners. Holiday ended up pinning Hammerstone here after hitting him with a shoe that was handed to him by Atu. So Holiday then sort of acted like he should be the new champion, that he's been the better of the two all along, which I thought was kind of funny. Pretty good six-man tag, furthering the story of the feud between these former friends. I imagine that's where this is going, a Hammerstone Holiday match, I would assume. So like I said, I've watched this show twice in a row. I'm not going to give this a rating because I don't sort of take detailed notes and pay fantastic attention. I just kind of watch it when I feel like watching wrestling. But I've mostly enjoyed the shows the last 2 weeks. I like the quick, realistic segments and the abundance of factions in this company. So I probably keep watching it, or at least check in with it periodically, just to replace my NXT 2.0 in this segment of the show. I thought I'd throw in those two. Might be the same ones next week, might be something different, might be something not at all, although we have plans for next week that will be different that I won't say for our 100th episode. So that brings us, unless you have anything.
I do not.
All right, so that brings us to the end of any other wrestling business. We'll move into our final segment where Jack said he has a small update from the world of wrestling action figures. It is Figuring It Out with Jack.
So there's this new Elite series. I think it came out. It was revealed a little while ago, so I might have missed it. But
how dare you?
It's the first Elite Greatest Hits series.
Okay.
So
what does that mean?
Basically, it's gonna be re-releases of old Elites.
Lazy.
With new tooling though. So
what does tooling mean?
Like, because
weapon new.
Now they'll have like interchangeable hands, double jointed elbows, probably the removable heads, etc.
Gotcha.
So, we'll have Rey Mysterio, which I think is Elite 23 one. It's like this. He had like this Day of the Dead one. It's got like mask and face paint. It kind of reminds me of Penta.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. I actually want to get that because it's mask and face paint. So
you do like that.
That explains itself.
Yep.
The Rock will be like I think a redo of his Attitude Era Elite.
Okay.
Like there's the Best of Attitude Era one I think. Undertaker, which will I think be a redo of his Elite 8. Mm-hmm. So that's cool because that's like a deep pull.
Yep.
So it'll probably have like better head scans too. Bam Bam Bigelow, which I think should be a redo of his Legends Elite, like this first Legends Elite, not the ECW one.
Okay.
The Rikishi I think will be his Hall of Champions one, which is good because that comes with the Oval Intercontinental title, which I like.
And Rikishi's cool.
He did it for The Rock.
He did it for The Rock.
Man.
Yep, that's right.
Oh yeah. On that gaming channel I watched, they also call him the Tribal Cheeks.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then Jake Roberts, I think, will be a re-release of or redo of his Flashback Elite, which was in this line, which also had King Harley Race.
Yep.
And it had like a Build-A-Figure Commissioner Shawn Michaels. And I think that was like a series where it's like the distribution wasn't great, so it was like it wasn't like a super easy series to find. So that's kind of cool
that they're bringing it back.
Sort of, yeah.
Nice.
And there's just some other new pre-orders. Like there's like the stuff that AEW revealed. There's some more basics, which that doesn't really matter. And then there's Elite 95, which is I'll cover because there's Big E, which I think is from when he cashed in. There's John Cena from his run last year. Jimmy Uso, which looks like Jey Uso. It's not even because they're twins. It's because it's a Jey Uso head scan. And
they just were like, whatever.
No
one will know.
Literally on the thing too, on like because they always put up graphics for like the series or whatever. So it's got the picture of Jimmy Uso. It literally said Jey Uso on. I swear.
That's funny.
Wait. Okay, when I'm zooming out on it, like because when you're on their website, it says Jey Uso, but when I click on it and it's got a closer picture, it's fixed and it says Jimmy Uso. So it did say Jey Uso on the Instagram post.
Nice.
And so they screwed that up, and so it's Jimmy. It looks like Jay. It's supposed to be Jimmy. There's Big E, John Cena, Jimmy, Shotzi Blackheart, Eddie Guerrero from Los Guerreros in green, and then there's a black Chase variant, and there's a black and white Bobby Lashley.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it? Well, that is going to bring us to our last episode in double digits, 99. We'll hit triple digits next week with something a little special planned in one of our segments, so hopefully you'll tune in for that. Really appreciate taking any time to sit down or stand or whatever you're doing, listening to us talk about wrestling in our basement for a couple hours. And I don't know, anything to add before we sign off here, fella?
Look forward to next week.
Very well. Nice promo. Your promo skills are
It'll
amazing.
Be interesting for sure.
It will be. So we look forward to seeing you back here next Saturday for episode 100. And until then, take care.